Down! Green team! Green team! Set! Hey!
Good morning, football fans, and welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, NFC Week, NFC South, y'all. Day number 3. We are back at it, y'all. Oh my goodness, can you believe it? 7 days in to this series, man. Oh my goodness, it's crazy, isn't it? Every single year, but we love it. I love covering our NFL team, and right now we are 24 teams through. Just 8 more to go. Man, oh man. Today we got ourselves a trip around the NFC South. That's right, y'all. We are going to be cruising around the NFC South, talking about those Atlanta Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers, and of course, the Buccaneers. We got ourselves one hell of a show today. We got a couple long interviews up in there, but you'll see, there's some good ones, all right? So we'll be starting our journey out today in the good old ACL, man. Talking with our boy Ice Ray of our Georgia Sports Show, sorry. So many shows here on the network. So we'll be talking with him, starting things off to talk about those Atlanta Falcons. After that, we'll be heading on over to the Bayou. That's right, y'all. Newest host of Bayou Sports Radio. Of course, that is Mr. T5. Oh, yeah. Our boy T5, man, the new host of the host of our new Louisiana show, of course, the Crescent City Connection. We'll be talking with him today all about those New Orleans Saints. After that, we head on back over to the East Coast to talk with our boy, Catman Jr., newcomer, man. First time up here. He's awesome, man. Even wrote a diss track for the Saints, and he's got 2 more to come for the Falcons and the Bucks. Yeah, this dude's awesome, man. We talked with him later on about his together. Then, of course, we are heading on over after that down to Florida, Tampa Bay to be exact, to talk about those Tampa Bay Buccaneers with our boy Florida Bulldogs of Palm Street Sports here at IE Sports Radio. It's going to be a packed show. Let's do this, y'all. You are now tuned in live to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, and it's week NFC South Day right here on IE Sports Radio. Your directly for all South Sports. Welcome, football fans. Well, as always, y'all, thank you again for being here, showing love, showing your support, and being a part of us here at IE Sports Radio. Make sure to give us a follow, you guys, right here. X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, IE Sports Radio, all day long. Find us there. Find all of our content. Check out what we do, y'all. If you miss any shows, check us out here. Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music / Audible, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, GyroSave, and all those cool deals there. Check out our website, guys, as well. Daily updated website, iSportsRadio.com. Show us some love, man. Check out our Fans of the Month, our Hall of Fame page, our blog. Become a member. Comment on the blogs. Check us out in the forum. Chat with us, all that fun stuff. Pick you up some merch at the IE Sports Radio shop. Show us some love, you guys. Definitely appreciate you so much for stopping in, grabbing you a shirt, hat, all that good stuff. You can check out our custom-made pages as well there at iesportsradio.com / like this one, 3 and Out. And, of course, you can follow our show at 3 and Out, all spelled out, 3 and Out. IESR. You can follow me, your boy Larry B. at the THEE_LB53. So the NFC South today, guys, boy, oh boy, what do you say? This division is a little odd. It is probably the most wide open division in the NFL like it was last year, and it proved itself, right? Everybody at the top was within a few games, and then there was one at the bottom. However, or maybe that's all cleaned up and better now for that team, the Panthers. But then again, We'll see. The Saints were just a few plays away, really, from being a strong contender last year. However, they couldn't get it going. Is this their year to get it going? The Bucks, have they done better this year to actually, be more of a contender this year? They're a playoff team now. How are they going to do this year? Will they still be that strong Tampa Bay team we saw last year? What's going down with that? Also, we have ourselves those dang. I'm telling you, man, those good old Falcons. I mean, everyone has their opinion about the draft, right? But boy, oh boy, everyone has their opinion about their draft pick. We'll find out the logic behind that. So we got so many great, or at least what we think is the logic behind that. So many great interviews coming on up today. Is this the year the Panthers actually put it in gear? Top 5 defense last year. Just the offense couldn't get it going at all. Is this the year for the Panthers to break out and become a strong team again, or are they in for some rough days? Well, we'll find out. So with that said, you guys, big ups and thank you to our sponsors, of course, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. The jerky that's on a whole other planet. Please make sure to check out Planet Jerky on Instagram at Planet Jerky, man. Head on over to planetjerky.net. Grab you a bag or 2 or 3, whatever it is, and then go back to Planet Jerky on Instagram. Let them know that you heard this ad here on this network, and they will, while supplies last, give you a free bag of jerky. Pretty cool, right? Hand in hand. Sports, IE Sports Radio, and Planet Jerky. Delicious. Also, my beautiful wife, give her a shout out, man. Seal the Deal Wax Seals, her awesome company. Check her out, Instagram at Seal the Deal _wax seals. She does really cool little wax stamps for the back of your letters, for your gifts, for your wedding invitations, for your graduation invitations, for your baby showers, all that cool stuff. $1.50 a piece. She does a really good job. Customize them however you'd like to. She makes them for you. Custom. All really cool stuff. iSportsRadio.com/Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Show her some love, guys, and make sure to check her out. So with that said, a word from our sponsors, and we're getting right over to the ATL to talk with our boy Ice Ray about his Atlanta Falcons. With that said, you guys, you're listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, NFC week, NFC South Day, right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back talking Falcons after this.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at SealTheDeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Back, football fans. Well, here we go, guys. NFC South Day. My gosh, I'm all over the place. NFC South Day is here. Once again, welcome back, all you diehard NFC South fans, and of course, football fans around the world. Thank you guys for tuning in today. The NFC South is a crazy division. For so many years, it was wide open. A couple of years, there was a definite winner that we all knew from the preseason in there. And boy, other years, it was just insane. So the NFC South, once again, we are touching on today. My gosh, day number 7 of this entire series, 8 divisions in 8 days. Craziness. Day number 3 of NFC week and day number 7 total. Wow, guys, this is awesome. This is super cool. 8 more teams to go. So here we are with our boy, man. We are talking Falcons. And this team is a very, very, I don't know. People have questioned this team in the last couple of months, obviously because of the draft pick. Okay, we all know the elephant in the room. But this division is so wide open. Is how could this team actually be like a playoff team immediately? I mean, it's crazy. This is a very, very, very fun division to look at and to try to analyze. So with that said, guys, we're starting things off over in the ATL. That's right, y'all. We're in Georgia today, starting things off with those Atlanta Falcons. And to help me do that, we have here another one of our own here at IE Sports Radio. He is the host of Peach Empire Sports. Catch him on Saturday afternoons, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Show him some love, man. Make sure you give him a follow here at Falcons Muse on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and Peach Empire IE. Ladies and gentlemen, Ice Ray, what's going on? How you doing, man?
What's up, Larry? Thank you so much for having me on the show. Always a pleasure to talk about the Falcons. I love that you said the Falcons are, I don't know, and that's literally the perfect way. I think every single year that describes us, but especially this year with so many question marks, new head coach, 2 new quarterbacks, just so many questions, and let's dissect it. I'm so excited to talk about Falcons
right
today.
Me too, man. This is a weird division already. You know what I mean? Because all the moving pieces, and on top of that, it's true. I mean, the Falcons aren't a bad football team. It's just a few more things put together the right way. And hey, we got a team here, you know? So I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Here we go, guys. Let's take a quick look here into last season. So I know you're like, oh great. I know. Here we go. But let's go ahead. It wasn't a horrible season though. So let's take a look here last season. Make it quick and dirty. But here we go, man. Last season, Carolina, Green Bay, boom, boom, starting off 2 nice victories. And then you go down to, man, it was a good start. And then 2 tough hits here, Detroit and Jacksonville, 2 losses back to back. A nice win over Houston, which Houston was a great team last year. And well, hey, this was right around the time they were finding themselves. So you guys got a nice victory over them, you know, when they were starting to figure things out in Houston. Then a tough loss to the Commanders, a nice victory over Tampa Bay, which isn't an easy team to beat, of course, division rival. But after that, man, a 3-game skid, Tennessee, Minnesota, Arizona. No, into the bye week, much needed at that time. A victory over the Saints is always nice at home, right? But then on the road, you head on over to New York, and you find, man, this was a grinded out game, man. But boy, what a game it was. Victory over the Jets. Then it just went back to being tough. Another bang game, but it wouldn't go your way versus Tampa Bay this time. A loss at home. A loss to Carolina. This team last year was horrendous, but this was a weird – that game was odd. My gosh, that game was crazy. That 9-7 game in December. After that, though, you would get one more victory. Okay, one more in the year. Colts. And then that was it, man. A blowout. That was weird versus the Chicago Bears. And then another one to the Saints to end off the season. And that was it. Talk to us, Ice Ray, about every raw emotion as a Falcons fan last year.
Yeah, so week 1, I'm excited for this team. Desmond Ridder was again another question mark last year. He only played 4 games. One of them was against the Buccaneers, second team in week 18. Like, we didn't get to see much. He didn't throw any interceptions. So I was cautiously optimistic. He's a 3rd-round pick. You don't hype him up too much, especially at quarterback. But we go out. We're so flat in week 1. running game is carrying us. But Bijan, first career touchdown. Tyler Algier runs for over 100 yards against them. So fun win. And then week 2, man. We're down 11 points. We make a comeback. I'm excited for this team. Team looks good. We're 2-0. Drake London scores his first touchdown of the season. Kyle Pitts is getting involved in the offense. And I'm excited. Bijan at 172 yards. I'm like, okay, we have something here. Then, like you said, 2 tough losses back to back. Detroit was a great team. They made the NFC Championship this year, so I'm not too disappointed about losing to them. And then again, the Jaguars started off 8-2, so losing to them was not that big of a deal. Houston, this is Ritter's best game of the season, 300 passing yards that game. Jonnu Smith played well. Everyone played well. And I'm like, okay, Ritter's piecing it together. Drake London, Kyle Pitts both went off. We have something special here, right? Next week, we go we come back home. Commanders, 3 interceptions by Desmond Ridder. We lose a very winnable game. Tampa, Ridder has 3 more turnovers. We somehow win the game. And then the L streak starts where we could have won every single one of these games. Every single one was winnable. Kyler Murray's first game back. We should have had him. We had him dead to rights on 3rd and 13 on a sack, but Dupree doesn't wrap up the tackle. He runs for a first. We lose the game. Minnesota, Josh Dobbs. We lost to Josh Dobbs. Again, D. Alford couldn't tackle him. He runs for a first down. Tennessee, I'll say there was an OPI that wasn't called, but that just coped. We had the game winner in our hands. Van Jefferson drops it on 4th and 1. All 3 games we should have won. We win any of those games, we probably win the division. Again, we beat New Orleans at home. Always a pleasure to beat our hated rivals. Jesse Bates had 2 turnovers, a pick 6. Probably my favorite game of the season, if I'm being honest. Rainy game in New York. We somehow win. Trevor Siemian is taking snaps at the end of the game. Tampa, we almost won again. Drake London goes crazy, 170 yards. Best game of his career. But Richie Grant gets beat by Cade Otton late in the game. Carolina, I was at this game. Parking cost more than the tickets to the game. Rainy day. Everyone knows we're going to run the ball. Desmond Ridder throws a terrible interception. We lose the game. Again, we win this game. We're probably in the playoffs. Indianapolis, I have no clue how we won this game. They were a playoff team, fringe playoff team. They missed by 1 game. If they win this game, they make the playoffs. This is the only blowout we've had in the Arthur Smith era. I don't know how we beat a playoff team. Again, I get my hopes up. We somehow beat a really good team. We limited Jonathan Taylor on the ground, limited Zach Moss on the ground, and then we just get blown out the last 2 weeks. But I'm going to be honest. I think it worked out better for us. We might have kept Arthur Smith if we made the playoffs. We might have ran it back with Desmond Ridder, and I'm excited to see what Kirk Cousins has. I'm excited to see what Raheem Morris has. I'm excited to see our new play calling. So, yeah, I think season was disappointing, but it set us up for this season, which I have very high hopes.
Yeah, I mean, once again, you look at the division from last year, and my gosh, from 3rd to 1st, it was 2 games.
A game.
That's it. The Panthers aren't in that conversation. But you guys, man, like I said, it wasn't that far. You're right, and really good points there, man. A couple plays would have went your way. My gosh, how different things could have been. But it's true, man.
That's football always, right? One play.
Oh my gosh. It's consistency every single time. Like, isn't that funny? Like every time the couple different what do we call it? The football bouncing your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bounced our way once or twice more, but all righty, man. So we're gonna jump on over into this offseason. So really quick, aside from the draft, we are going to jump on over and talk about a couple of transactions. So a couple of big things, man. Oh my gosh, let me see here. So let's see. Obviously, TJ Yates, new quarterback, new QB coach coming on.
Let's go.
Right? Getting rid of Arthur Smith. He's out. You guys are, let's see here. My gosh, there were so many pickups. Releasing Jonnu Smith. Okay, a tight end there. He signed Darnell Mooney. Re-signing Kentavious Street. You guys will waive Justin Schaefer. Moving pieces everywhere. Eddie Goldman will come back. It's kind of crazy. You guys had a lot of different re-signings as well. Antonio Hamilton coming back, Kevin King. So, when it comes down to it, there were lots of transactions not really lots, but there were some key transactions there. What were your favorite and what may be your not so favorite transactions from the offseason?
Yeah, so we made some good signings. Like, of course, Kirk is the biggest signing, my favorite. Well, are we counting head coach signings? Because I think Raheem's my favorite signing. He's bringing in a winning culture. He helped the Rams win the 2021 Super Bowl. He was the defensive coordinator there. And he brought over some guys from the Rams. We got our offensive coordinator from the Sean McVay coaching tree. So I love that signing. I like the Kirk signing. Maybe a bit of an overpay, especially with we did go and get Penix after too. But Raheem's definitely my favorite signing, and then Kirk, because we all know we got Drake London, we got Kyle Pitts, but we've had them. We need someone to get them the ball, and I think Kirk will be able to do that. He fed TJ Hawkinson in Minnesota. He fed Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison was playing great with him, so those are big. Something I really don't like is Jeffrey Okudah. We lost him. He is now Texan, I believe, and he played pretty well last season. He didn't get too many snaps later in the season, but again, he was our cornerback too. Now we're relying on, I think Mike Hughes is getting snaps in preseason. Not preseason, training camp, which is, I mean, I'm not going to diss the guy, but I think Okudah is better than him. So I miss him. Jonas Smith was an interesting piece. I think he got way too many targets, but he was this really good tight end too. Now we're going to rely on Michael Pruitt, who, interestingly enough, had a touchdown in that rain game against the Jets, though really weird game. But we didn't really lose much and we didn't really add much, but I think the few signings that we did have, like Darnell Mooney, he's going to be solid wide receiver 2, good contributor on offense. Kirk Cousins, he's going to feed our weapons the ball. Raheem Morris, he's going to change the culture. He brings in new attitude. Arthur Smith was kind of not really a culture changer he didn't really change the culture here. He was just a coach. So I'm interested to see all that. We lost Mac Hollins, but really he didn't contribute much last season. And Jeffrey Okudah is really the only piece I'm kind of upset about losing.
Well, that's understandable. That's totally understandable. Because once again, you lose a piece there. I think a lot of Falcons fans can agree with that. You know what I mean? Losing Okudah, definitely something you're like, damn it. One of those deals, man. But yeah, no, absolutely though. There was lots of different pickups here. And overall, I mean, okay, now we're looking at the draft here on the screen. So, okay, you know what? It's about that time, man. It's about time to get over there. That's the elephant in the room, obviously. The draft, everyone. We all love it. We enjoy it. We have shows about it, dedicated to it. I mean, just that's what it is. But for you guys this year, I know, and I've heard you talk about it on the show before on Peaks Empire Sports. But dude, okay, so here we go. The Falcons are on the board. Okay, I'm sorry. Plenty of players are on the board. Falcons pick comes up at number 8, and what happens? They select Michael Penix Jr. Okay, now, okay. Initially, everybody, I think, more people hated this than loved it at the very, 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 very beginning. Okay. And I heard so many things, Ice Ray. My gosh, I heard, oh, they're idiots. These dudes don't know what they're doing. Someone's going to get fired. What the hell are they drafting him for? Why would you sign Kirk Cousins to all that money and then pick him up? Michael Penix is a little bit older. He's ready to play now. What is he going to sit behind Kirk Cousins for another couple of years and be 30 by the time he freaking plays? They're going to waste his career. I mean, dude, I've heard. I think I've heard everything. Okay, I'm almost positive I've heard everything. Then out of nowhere, I started hearing, well, Kirk Cousins is kind of injury prone, or he's probably not gonna, I don't know. He's not like super old, but I mean, he's definitely not like he's young. And what if he sucks? What if he just doesn't work out? And what if Michael Penix just jumps in and or what if he wins in training and then it goes in full circle? But if that happens, then why did they sign him? Them stupid idiots. Dude, so I've heard this wheel of stuff, and it's funny because everyone has that opinion of it's either love or hate. I don't think I've heard anybody say that they're like, I guess this is okay. Like nobody's in the middle. It's either they're stupid. Yeah, seriously. So, okay, so here we are on air. Michael Penix Jr. I, of course, Pac-12, rest in peace. Pac-12 guy. Okay, I'm so pissed about that. But obviously, West Coast football over here in Cali, and I've seen this guy play plenty. I think all of us have because he made the national spotlight for sure.
Yeah, he made the national championship.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's a freaking monster, man. Hell of an athlete. Like I said, a little bit older. He's played the game many, many years. The guy is an absolute dynamo. He's a lefty, different, and the guy is just an all-out great athlete. Now, picking him for the Falcons after you sign a quarterback.
For a huge deal, too. Like, it's not like a small deal.
Yeah, it was a huge, huge deal. That's why everyone's making such a big deal about it. Ice Ray, I know, like I said, I know you talked all about it. I've heard you on Peaks Empire Sports, address this. You talked about it like 2 days after the draft. I know, and you jumped on. You were like, that was the first thing you talked about. You're like, let's just get this out of the way. And you know what?
I had to, man. It was the biggest sports news for us.
It was, dude. So talk to us, Ice Ray. Tell us all about it. Obviously, well, we can go ahead and go through the other ones really quick. But this was another one, man. Rugo Oro, this guy right here, defensive tackle out of Clemson, big, strong guy, much needed for you guys right now in that middle. Braylon Trice, edge rusher out of Washington, Michael's teammate, a guy that I got to see as well over here on the West Coast. Solid athlete. And again, Brandon Dorless, another dude out of from the West Coast, from Oregon, but another defensive. I mean, can we see here that we're trying to stop the run and we're trying to create a pass rush? I mean, obviously, then we get to the later round picks, guys that may or may not make the team, depending, practice squad guys possibly. But JD Bertland, we have here, linebacker out of Notre Dame. I actually had him going like in the second or third round, so I'm not sure how he felt.
Yeah, it was a steal. I saw a lot of people saying we got a great guy in the late round. So
yeah, he's a freaking beast. So to know that he fell so far, Jason McClellan, of course, running back out of Alabama. Some depth is always nice. Casey Washington. Well, actually, I mean, tandems and putting together multiple running backs is always great. But Casey Washington, another wide receiver out of Illinois. The guy's actually very, very good, surprisingly good for the 6th round. So another good pickup there. And then Zion Logu. I don't pronounce his name.
We got a UGA guy.
But yeah, dude, and he is a dude from, guess where? Your school. All right.
Yes.
So really cool, man. He comes from Georgia and he's not going very far. So really cool, man. I thought the draft was actually very, very good. The Falcons got what they needed. But this pick, obviously, okay, this very first one, we got to get into it. So with that said, man, the Falcons draft, talk all about it. What do you think?
All right, so let me get my initial thoughts first. So we're on the board at pick 8. There has not been a single defensive player taken yet. So I'm thinking, okay, we got our choice of any defensive guy, literally any defensive guy. I thought we're taking an edge. I wanted Latu out of UCLA. I'm blanking on the guy out of Alabama. Oh, Dallas Turner. I wanted him. He has that energy, that passion for the game. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine with either of those two edges. Any of the cornerbacks. I loved Arnold out of the draft, again, out of Alabama. I would have been fine with any of those guys, any corners, any edges. And then I'm like, Rome Odunze is also there. We just signed Kirk to a big deal. Let's go win now, completely win now. Let's just stack up that offense. Rome was probably my first pick there because I think he's wide receiver 2. You could feel free to disagree with me, but I thought he was clearly wide receiver 2, better than Neighbors. And I'm excited. I'm like, okay, we can get Odunze. We can get any of the edges, any of the corners. And then they just threw a massive curveball. We took a quarterback after paying Kirk a huge deal, all guaranteed. And I'm just like, what are we doing? And again, you said you watched Penix. You watched a lot of Pac-12 games. I watched a couple games. His USC game was really great. And then, of course, the 2 college football games, college football playoff games. He played great in them. Maybe not so great in the Natty, but he is a really good athlete. There's some people who said he can't create out of structure, but if you watch the USC game, he's getting outside the pocket. He's making plays happen. He has a beautiful cannon of an arm, all the zip in the world that you want to see. Some concerns about him. Again, he's 24, had 2 ACL injuries. That's not what you want to see. And sometimes under pressure against, like if you saw him in the Natty, when there was pressure on him, he didn't make the right reads at times. But again, those are growing pains. Tua, that was one of his big concerns coming out of college. He's been lighting it up in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is one of his concerns coming out of college. He's made it to the Super Bowl last year. Like, you can grow through those pains. You can be better. They are both MVP candidates at times. So Penix, those are not big concerns. He'll learn under Kirk. So original reaction was, what are we doing? But then news comes out later, right? The Raiders, your Raiders, they tried to trade up for him. The Vikings, they tried to trade up for him. The Broncos, they tried to trade up for him. And if 3 quarterback needy teams wanted him, that makes me feel like better. Come on, man. People wanted that quarterback. We took him. So that's all great. And then training camp, mini camp, he has been lighting it up. Today in training camp, there's no videos out yet, but he's going against the first team defense with the second team offense. And he threw a 40-yard touchdown strike to Rondale Moore on AJ Terrell. That's our quarterback 1. He's a top 15 quarterback. Debate me on that. He's a great corner, but Penix has been lighting him up. Casey Washington, that guy you said, speedster, he's been doing great. Penix has been throwing straight bombs to him in the training camp and mini camp. So I'm seeing good things, lots of things I like out of him, and I'm not going to hate on anyone on my team, so I have high hopes for him, and hopefully he succeeds. I see the vision. Terry took a flyer on a third-round pick. It didn't work out, so he's like, okay, I need a quarterback, paid big money for Kurt. Then we had a meeting with Penix. They fell in love with him, and you take the guy you like. And we're building for the future. In 2 years, he'll take the reins. And you know it's the NFL. You cannot win without a quarterback, right? So I don't hate the pick anymore. I'm optimistic about it. Let's see how he does. He's doing great so far. So,
and you know what? That's the best way to look at it, Esri. I mean, honestly, what more do you do? You know, obviously the pick is done. You can't do anything about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, just when the Falcons, I'm sorry, Esri. Just when the Falcons, I think, well, no, it's still there, but just when Falcons fans start to finally break a little bit away from the 28-3 thing, now it's this. That's the new meme for it's like, oh my god. But
yeah,
right now, man, this is a look. The guy, no matter what anybody wants to say, the guy is a freaking talented athlete. And no matter what happens, I mean, I'll tell you right now, everyone's going to be real damn happy if anything happens to Cousins and he jumps in there and makes things happen. You know what I mean? Like, everyone,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Who knows what happened? But as of right now, I feel this is a definite. You know, it was kind of a weird one, but at the same exact time, we'll see how it plays out, right? So, okay. Last deal here, we're getting close to it. Here we go into this season. So let's take a look at it, man. We have here this season that is I don't know. This looks like a pretty fun schedule, you know. We have here the AFC. What is this? The AFC. Oh, hey, AFC West.
Yep.
The AFC.
We play
West.
each other.
Right there, right? It's pretty sweet. And the NFC, if I'm not mistaken.
West. No, not the West.
The AFC East. NFC East. So the AFC West and the NFC East. That looks like fun. And then a couple outlier teams in there as well. Looking at the schedule, what are you thinking, man? Are you pretty excited? Are you optimistic? How are you feeling about it?
So we actually have the easiest schedule, tied with the Saints, based on opponents' win percentage last season, which that excites me. But of course, the season-to-season change is always different. Like, your Raiders got a lot better. You added a new defensive tackle. And teams like the Seahawks are going to get better. They got new coaches, stuff like that. So it's never like, oh, they were bad this year, they're going to be bad next year. But I do think it's a fairly easy schedule. I think most of our division got weaker or just didn't change. I'll say the Panthers did get better, but how much can you improve from a 2-win season, like in 1 year, that drastically? But the Saints really didn't do anything in the offseason. The draft was pretty good. And then the Bucs lost their offensive coordinator. And then we'll see what happens with Baker, if he regresses or not. They lost a lot of key pieces on the defensive side. So I think the South got a little weaker as a whole. And then the schedule is pretty favorable. So hopefully we make the playoffs. But again, I'm cautiously optimistic.
See, and that right there is how exactly I feel. This team, I mean, once again, a couple different plays last season. My gosh, the NFC West would have been. I'm sorry, the NFC South would have been completely different. You know,
Exactly.
So I mean, really, if you look at the schedule, it looks. I mean, I don't want to say favorable, but it could be against the NFL. But if you look at it, man, I mean, golly, you got the defending champs on there. You know, you got some solid teams on here who are, you know, Dak Prescott needs to prove himself. You know, he's in that year. You know, you got the Raiders who are up and coming. You know, I mean, you got a lot of teams on here that are, you know, really on their way. But realistically, man, I look at it and go, you know what? The Falcons, this could be a good season if obviously injuries and everything we know. But this looks like it could actually be a pretty fun season. So, okay, with that said, let's get on to that last little piece. I know you're a busy dude, man. Got to get going. But let's get into that last segment here. As always, a fun one. But this is a little segment let's call Stick It To It. Oh, yeah.
Stick it.
Segment. You tell us. Okay, so we have 3 other teams in the NFC South. The Panthers, Saints, here. Tell us how you think they're going to do this season. And, of course, it's okay to sprinkle a little bit on top of that. Professional. Have some fun, though. Talk some crap. That's all right. And, well, without further ado, Ice Ray, stick it to them.
Let's go. All right, let's start. I'll start at the bottom of the division. The Carolina Panthers. I'll say they had a good offseason, man. Dave Canales helped Baker break out. He probably had his best season of his career, arguably better than his rookie season. Debate that. And Xavier Legette, great player. Deontay Johnson, great player. But you had 2 wins last year. You lost a lot of your defensive players. Frank Luvu's gone. Brian Burns is gone. I say 5 wins, 5-12. I can't wait for Drake London, Bijan Robinson to have a way with them. And that defense sucks. I'm sorry, Carolina Panthers fans. We're going to torch you guys this season. 5 wins for you. Let's move on to the Bucks. I think they go 8-9 again. They lost so many players on defense. Carlton Davis is gone. Devin White is gone. And then again, you lost Dave Canales, who just helped Baker break out. That O-line is meh at best. And then you lost Shaquille Barrett. He just retired. 8 wins again, and I can't wait to get our revenge against you guys for it. We should have swept you guys last year. We couldn't because Richie Grant had a brain fault, just faltered. But your defense also sucks. And I'm not saying our defense is that good, but your defense sucks. Drake London had 170 yards on you guys last year, and now he has Kirk Cousins coming in. And yeah, we're going to torch you guys. Let's go on to the Saints. I'll say 9-8 to 8-9 again. Alontae Taylor was terribly graded by PFF, 45 grade by PFF. He was getting torched all season long. They have a great secondary. I'll say Marshawn Lattimore is coming back. They got Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I really liked out of Alabama again. But you have no pass rushers. Chase Young is a bust. I'm sorry. Derek Carr, you're a Raiders fan. I'm sorry if you still like him, but Derek Carr is not good. Jesse Bates had a pick 6 against him last year, 2 turnovers, and no matter how many offensive weapons you have, Derek Carr is going to hold you back. You're going 9-8 at best. We're winning the division at 10-7. And I'm sorry, Saints. I hate you guys. No pass rush, and Bijan is running all over you. He averaged 130 yards in 2 games against y'all. 130 yards per game, 3 touchdowns in 2 games. He's going to torch your linebacking core. He's going to torch your non-existent edges. And y'all are going 9-8. Sucks to suck, Saints.
It sucks to suck. Ice Ray, way to throw it down, man. Way to put it down. Speaking to my brother, that was a way to set the tone for the show today, man. Awesome stuff. But I appreciate you so much for being here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, check him out at Falcons Muse on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at Peach Empire IE, man. I know you have a YouTube channel, is right? Also as well.
Yeah.
What is it called?
AR Sports Dynamic.
AR Sports Dynamic. So, but crap, we can't type all that in really quick. But yeah, YouTube, man, give him a follow as well on YouTube, AR Sports Dynamic. He does a really good job, man. Really, really, really cool stuff. Super, super, super fun to follow and check him out, man. Show him some love. Falcons fans, trust me, there's a lot to be optimistic for this year. So with that said, you guys, we are all done now in Atlanta. We're actually heading on down to the Bayou. Oh, yeah, to talk about them Saints next. You are listening. You are listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, NFC Week, NFC South Day, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back talking Saints after this.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports?
Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Welcome back, football fans. Here we go, y'all. Once again, welcome on back. This is NFC South Day right here on 3 and Out. 8 divisions in 8 days. Day number 6. My goodness. 2 more. Well, really, today is, the penultimate show. Tomorrow being the grand finale with the NFC North as we get into that Hall of Fame game. So excited for that. But as you already heard, we just finished up with our boy, Mr. Ice Ray, talk about them Falcons, and now we are down in the bayou for our second team of the NFC South to talk about them New Orleans Saints. Man, I'll tell you right now, we have ourselves a good one lined up, man. I couldn't have found a better guest for this segment. So excited to have him here for his first time. Ladies and gentlemen, here to help me talk about them New Orleans Saints, man. Who that? We have here in the building today our boy T5, man. Welcome to the show, brother.
Nice. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I'll tell you, we've been talking for the last couple of minutes before we got on air, and man, I'm really happy to have him aboard. This is gonna be a fun one, man. Definitely excited to talk about them Saints, especially after last year, man. My goodness, last year was something.
It was something.
It was. Yeah, I don't know if it was something you liked, but it was something. I know that.
It was interesting. It was something, man. Like the last year or two is kind of been divisive, man. You kind of found out who was the real Saints fans and who was like, hey, you gotta chill out, man. I don't know about you guys.
It's so true, man. It is so true. I'll tell you, the coolest part about the Saints is the amount of gelling this team has done has been great. But the problem is well, salary cap hell is a real thing, and it's been rough for you guys, as a Raider fan, as a diehard. I'm happy to see that Carr did something good, but at the same exact time, it looks a lot like how it did with us. It's decent, but it's not what you guys wanted, and it's definitely not what we wanted. So it kind of sucks. I love him. I love him to death as a person. I love him to death as he can play. It's just kind of rough though. Sometimes I know it's just not, I know he's not of the elite quarterbacks, but with that said, man, let's get into last season and talk all about them Saints, man. So first things first, go ahead and jump up here on the screen and get on into last season. So I know. Here we go. We're going to recap this real quick. I promise I'll make it quick. But so starting things off, Leslie, man, nice victory over Carolina to start things off in a very, very, very slim margin there. But hey, it was a victory's victory. Way to eke out a win. And then head on up to Carolina and get that 3-point victory. 2-0. Loving it. Then it turned from quickly 2-0 to 2-2 as you guys would head up to Green Bay. Another very close game. Unfortunately, you guys were on the wrong side of that one. Very, very close 1-point loss there. Then head on back home. Tampa Bay came on over and just, yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah, beat down right there, but it's all good. You guys rebounded with a beat down of your own in New England. 34-0, man, just putting the points up on them. Then heading on over to Houston. Unfortunately, another game that you guys actually really had. That was a very close one. Remember that one. You guys would lose here to Houston, and then another one back at home, a close one to the Jaguars. Man, that was a very good game as well. But after that, 2 more games, 2-0. Okay, another 2-game win streak. Indianapolis on the road, and then Chicago at home. Then, unfortunately, another tough one. Another game that you guys were just in and just couldn't finish it, man. But up in Minnesota. Then into the bye week, thankfully. Then right back out on the road, and unfortunately, the woes continued with a tough loss to Atlanta on the road, and then another tough, close loss to Detroit. As we can see here, there's a trend going on, man. The Saints are not a bad team. There's a couple of games where actually, all of these games, if things could have gone just a little bit different, the Saints could have won a lot of these games, except for that Tampa Bay one.
Mm-hmm.
But going back here, man, just to finish it off, Carolina and New York, nice little 2-game win streak there in weeks 14 and 15. Another close loss to the Los Angeles Rams on the road, but then you head on over to Tampa Bay, pay them back with a nice 10-point victory there, and then head on back home, and you all just mollywopped the Atlanta Falcons in week number 18, man. Unfortunately, though, wasn't good enough to make the playoffs. Tampa Bay would make it on into the postseason, and that's pretty much that, man. So T5, man, give us every raw emotion last year as a Saints fan.
Oh boy, like I'm not gonna lie. When we signed Derek Carr, we kind of were like, we kind of knew it was. We kind of felt like it was gonna happen, and I was down for it because I've been following. I follow like the whole NFL, the spectrum. So I've seen Derek Carr, and I've seen what he's done in Oakland/Vegas, and I was like, I think we can work with him. I think we could do something with him. He's not like the greatest. Because I remember seeing like a highlight of him running the ball like in the red zone and him losing the ball on the same play to the same team 2 different years. And I was like, dang, like he actually did that. And I was like, bro, I was like, that is the same play. And he did the same thing. And I was like, ugh, I hope he doesn't do that down here. And so I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He came down with his family and ingratiated himself. And, they had the whole Chipotle thing where he got off. The first thing him and his family did when they got off the plane, they didn't know where they were going. They didn't know any restaurants. They recognized Chipotle. And you ask anybody who comes to Louisiana, who comes to New Orleans about food, one of the greatest food cities in America, maybe even the world. And the first place you go to is Chipotle. Everybody had jokes. Everybody had opinions about Derek Carr. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself, DC? We'll take care of you. Don't worry, bro. We'll take care of you, man. But Chipotle? Don't worry, bro. We'll get you taken care of. So, so they had that right off the bat. They had that going on. And we had got some good pieces in the draft and everything, so we were pretty high on that. We definitely needed defense, because we lost some pieces. So we were going in there like, okay, we could do something. We can do something. So those first 2 wins they were good, but they weren't at where we thought, because the offensive line looked bad, and we were like, ugh. That's gonna be a problem. So we're like, okay, it's gonna take a while for the offense to gel. The defense was looking great, but the offense is gonna take a while to gel.
Mm-hmm.
And it it kind of persisted. Like you fix up one side of the offensive line, then the other side started messing up. You're like, okay, bro. Okay, Pete Carmichael, that was the offensive coordinator. You're like, okay, Pete, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? What are you gonna do? What you gonna do? And at first we thought it was kind of like the offense, like the players, until we started noticing, nah, man, it's the coordinator. It's you, bro. You gotta go. And I was like, a lot of people myself included, gave him a little grace. We were like, all right, cool. You was on the Sean Payton, because a lot of people, one of those boy that was in Washington, I forgot his name. They wanted him as offensive coordinator. So we were like, okay, we're bringing in Pete. We're going to try to keep the status quo on offense, that Drew Brees, Sean Payton type offense. Okay, cool. But it wasn't it. The play calling sucked. The play calling sucked out loud. They were doing things where like the analyst on TV would openly like, bro, why are y'all only need 4 yards? Why? And they would take the little telestrator and show the routes. Why are y'all running 20, 30 yards downfield when you only need 4 yards? And I'm like, I wonder that every day, bro. I wonder that every day. You preaching to the choir, guy. And they were like, okay, you need what, 20 yards. Why are you throwing a 4-yard pass to Alvin Kamara when he's surrounded by linebackers? And I'm like, your guess good as mine, man. Your guess good as mine. So it turns out it was like the offensive coordinator, just horrible. And we wanted him out of there as a collective. The Saints, who that nation, we wanted him out of there. We're like, why are you waiting to the bye week? Get him out of there now. We were watching Pittsburgh, Chicago, Buffalo, a bunch of these other teams just kicking offensive coordinators out left and right. Pew, pew, pew. Like, yeah, they're getting rid of, we're better. Dude, their offense is better than ours. And they got rid of their coordinator. Why aren't we firing this dude yet? We're like, what are you waiting for? So, like, the end of the season came, they eventually got him out of there. But man, like you said, they had so many games that we could have won. Like that Green Bay game. Oh man, we were giving Green Bay the business, and Derek Carr ended up getting hurt. And once he went out, that's when all of a sudden the switch came on for Green Bay, and like they just had like, oh boy, they just came back and mollywopped us. And that's when I started to notice that Green Bay was a second half team. It started with us. And then I would watch a Green Bay game like every other couple of weeks. They would have Green Bay on TV. And I started noticing Green Bay is a second half team. They don't start off good, but they finish strong. And I just noticed that about old Jordan Love. So yeah, that's neither here nor there. But I just noticed that Green Bay game, we had that game, we were beating the brakes off of them, and then all of a sudden they came back and just routed us. They had a couple other games that, man, we should have won, and we just couldn't finish, whether it was one thing or another. And I think we're in a better position this year. Like once we hired Gary Kubiak, everybody was like, what? We did what? Huh? Who? Huh? What? And you saw not only the pedigree he comes from with, the Kubiak family, but then you also seen like the learning tree came from with the Shanahan offense. And you're like, okay, I'm interested, because a lot of Saints fans checked out by not even maybe like halfway. Maybe some of them by halfway part last year had completely checked out. Like I have a group chat with some friends that I grew up with and everything. We still keep up and everything. And a lot of us was like, that's nice. Okay. Yeah, we weren't even we weren't talking like we usually talk. Like we would watch and some of us would keep up And then some of us be like, "Oh, the game's on. Oh, okay, that's cool." Like that. Like we didn't even care. So, and like sometimes some of us would just go take a nap. Like usually we're up watching the game. Like, yeah, I might go take a nap. I'll come back in the fourth quarter, or I'll come back and check on the score. We didn't even care, man. It was that bad. But I'm like, I was still like a little sliver of hope. I'm an optimist. I was like, we had a little bit of hope. We needed when it came down that we needed help to get into the playoffs, and I was like, okay, what do we need? What do we need? What do we need? The Buccaneers to beat. I mean, the Panthers to beat the Buccaneers. Well, I guess we're not going then. That's exactly what happened. I was like, curse you, Bryce Young, you young. Curse you to hell. You and your owner. I hope everything that's bad in life, that then the owner wants to go throw water on a fan or something. Good luck. I hope they clap you for that. I hope they throw a book at you for that, you bum. That guy's weird. Hey, that big weirdo. So man, I was like, oh man, we need to depend on the Panthers after we just got through beating the brakes off of them. Yeah, that's gonna go well. So luckily we went and beat Atlanta, and then we did the pettiness of it. Oh boy, Jameis Winston ingratiated himself in almost Drew Brees GOAT status for that by changing the play at the line of scrimmage to get Jamal Williams a touchdown in garbage time. Didn't need to do it because they came short of the goal line. We thought we scored, but we were short, so we ended up being at the goal line, and we were like, "Okay, cool. They're gonna take a knee, right?" Wrong. Do you know what city this is? This is New Orleans. We are like fifth generation petty around here. Petty is in our DNA, and all of a sudden, I guess Jameis Winston kind of like he caught that like bird flu or something from the couple of years he's been here. I guess he's one of us now because that dude was like, yeah, we're about to get in this end zone. I don't care what the score is. I don't care how many seconds we got left. We're about to get in this end zone. We about to get this touchdown, brother. Ran that ball, first down. Oh boy. Oh man. You had the Who Dat Nation divided. Oh man, you had Bobby Aber on Sports Talk Radio. Oh, that was petty. You shouldn't have did that. You do wrong for that. You shouldn't have did that. And we're like, Bobby, respectfully, you're the godfather of Who Dat Nation, but you don't speak for all of us. We don't like Atlanta. We love Jameis Winston. We love him. We love what he just did. That was great. We're gonna do it again. I don't care if they want to fight. They know where they can find us. They know where they can find us. Pull up. If you mad, don't. Hey, I don't care. But somebody could have got hurt. Somebody. Okay, I understand that. I got your point. But it's a 1 yard line, dude. Ain't nobody getting hurt like that. Chill out, bro. Chill out. So, like, you had the Saints fan base like super divided and everything. Oh man, it was a year. It was a year, and like I said, once we heard that Pete was out, and Kubiak was in, we were like, okay, there's some hope. They're doing a complete offensive overhaul. Great, because the defense is solid. Say what you will about Coach, but man, he can coach some defense, bro. And that's all we need him to do. We don't need him to touch the offense at all. Don't even look at the offense. Just do the defense. We have a top 5 defense. Don't even look at the offense. Don't even say offense. Just say those guys over there. Let Kubiak do his thing. And that's what he's been doing. And everybody has been reinvigorated. Like I've been listening to everybody from camp and OTAs and everything. And now in training camp, everybody is being reinvigorated. They're locked in. Everybody at first, last year, everybody was like, we don't know what our identity is. We don't know what our offensive identity is. We don't know what we're doing. You got folks on the sideline arguing and stuff. You got Carr and our offensive lineman McCoy over there arguing and junking. Mike Thomas was checked out, and Alvin Kamara didn't know he was like the spokesperson for the team, and he don't even speak that often. So when it's like the most quietest dude on the offense is now the spokesperson, that was bad. That was like bad out loud, man. And luckily, like as soon as we said, "Hey, Kubiak is in," everybody was like, "Huh? Huh? What? I'll be there on Monday."
And you know what? That's what it's all. That's a perfect transition, man. Because I'll tell you right now, last season, as you said, it was a season. But getting into this off season, man, obviously you have the moving around, coaches, coordinators, all that fun stuff. I mean, I think you got into all of that, which is great player wise. Well, we could even get into more of the coaches. But looking at the transactions here, courtesy of ESPN.com, I mean, Dantzler, he's on his way out. You guys would sign, a couple players early on. Okay. Then here we go. Run game coordinator. All right. So Rick Dennison. We have here signing, obviously, Udo, huge. Okay. Amadi, you guys, Chase Young. Okay. Stanley Morgan. I mean, there was a lot of signings this year for the Saints, re-signing Jonathan Abram, Tyrann Mathieu. Hey, look who's here, So I think it's really, really cool to see, some of these players sign because, you went and got the needs as best as you could in free agency. So we'll get into the draft momentarily, but because that's about right here in April. But with right now, even going as far as look at just a few weeks ago, actually, my gosh, not a few weeks, a couple of days ago, my apologies. Kevin Austin. I mean, you guys got some players you can sign this offseason. What were your biggest pickups, biggest departures of this offseason?
Biggest pickups was we were like, according to like the mainstream media, we're always in cap hell. But if you ask anybody from like New Orleans or Louisiana or the who's been following the Saints for a while, Mickey Loomis is a cap wizard. He's not even a wizard. He's like not even, I guess you could call him a cap wizard. We always there've been memes of Mickey Loomis with a wizard's hat, or he's dressed like Professor Snape from Harry Potter. Like, the dude doesn't believe in the cap. Y'all stop that stuff. When you listen to like the mainstream, oh, the Saints are in cap hell. Next thing you know, we're under the cap and we're getting players. I was like, you gotta do the Michael Jordan shrug. You're like, so like all season, we went and got Chase Young. That pass rush was, we had like our highest pass rusher was like Carl Granderson, and like that was about it. Like we thought we were gonna have something with the second round pick. He barely got any really playing time. We had a couple of injuries, and the pass rush, they didn't get home a lot. There was rush, and it wasn't consistent pass rush. The secondary was good, linebackers were good. We just needed more on the pass rush, so we went and got Chase Young, and that brought up a lot of people. Like, hey, okay, all right, we got him. Okay, cool, that's good. That's like the only the real biggest glaring need we needed, and a lot of people wanted the Saints to go out and make all these splash moves. Everybody wants their team to make splash day, and you don't really need to. So we got a lot of people that we needed more depth on offense, because Ryan Ramczyk, he's out for the season. Like, we were trying to see if he can come back from his knee injury, and it didn't look good. So we had to go get some depth behind them, because we lost Andrews Pete. James Hurst retired. So that's one side of the line by itself. That's one side of the offensive line by itself that we needed to replace. So we went and got more depth pieces on for the line. Michael Thomas, we departed from that, let him walk. And we just needed a number 3 or 4, 5th, with how many receivers, because we have number 1 and number 2. Olave and Shaheed both came in the same year. Olave, first round pick in the draft. Shaheed, undrafted free agent, who I'm pretty sure Detroit and Philadelphia are pissed off. They couldn't have snatched him off of our practice squad like
So
they snatched
true.
everybody else off of. Ha ha. They pretty. I bet they're pretty. Why did we know about that guy? Where was that guy at? Now they're mad about that. Yeah, he's our number 2 receiver now. So we just needed like a number 3. We drafted A.T. Perry last year. He started coming along near the end of the season. Cool. Let's see if he takes that next step. We drafted Bub Means this year, and we'll see where he goes with that. But we still needed like a solid number 3, number 4, and we picked up some receivers. We picked up St. Brown from Detroit in Chicago. The other St. Brown brother.
Yeah, right. Yep.
We picked him up, and he's pretty good. We played him a couple. Because it seems like we play like Chicago. It seems like the Saints play Chicago at least once every year. Like we're in the NFC North or something. We played him at least every other year. So we've seen him before, and he's pretty good. So we'll see what he's been having a pretty good camp. And we picked up the receiver from Dallas/Miami. And he's pretty good. And like I said, we don't need him to be a number 1 or even a number 2. We just need him to be a number 3. Because we got other pieces to fill in the pass catching role. We just need him to be a solid 3. So that's where we're at with them. Other pieces, that's probably about it. Like
Yeah,
we had a couple departures. Like I said before, we lost Andrews Pete, free agency. We lost a corner to San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. But he was like 3rd, 4th string. He was like our 4th string cornerback. He was pretty good. He was a pretty solid backup. But we instantly replaced him in the draft, so we might have upgraded. So it is what it is. I'm like, if you ask me, him, and he asked me Kool-Aid McKinstry, I'm like, I'm taking Kool-Aid.
Oh
I'm
man.
drinking. So more power to him. He left, more power to him. Yeah, we lost Jameis Winston. That's more of a emotional thing because he really ingratiated himself with the community and the fan base and everything. But when Derek Carr would get hurt, he would go in and he'd be 50-50, man. We really thought that, they could kind of, rehabilitate Jameis. And they kind of did a little bit. He wasn't as bad as he was in Tampa Bay. So that was something, if anything. But yeah, like we said, I think a lot of people are high on Jake Hayner. I am too. This is his 2nd year. He looked good his first year, his rookie year. And then we got Spencer Rattler we just drafted, and a lot of people are super high on him. So, I mean, we'll see.
I'll tell you right now, you've had a perfect segue into the draft talking about Kool-Aid, man. Because let's get right into that draft. Great job there on the free agency, man. Absolutely amazing pickups here, I think, from the Saints. And the departures, yeah, I mean, they suck. But I mean, realistically, I mean, I feel like you replace who you need to replace. Starting off with that offensive line, man, Talisi Fuaga, this dude right here. I'm a Pac-12, rest in peace, Pac-12 guy, obviously. I'm still pissed off about that, but whatever. I'll tell you though, man, this dude, I see a lot of West Coast football. This dude's the whole package, man. Absolute monster. I mean, he probably could have even went earlier, but hey, he fell to 14. Great pickup here, man. Talking about helping out, sealing that offensive line. Then 2nd round, here we go. Kool-Aid, man. You talked about we replaced him in the draft. Exactly, man. Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama. Talk about a great pickup there. Dude is going to do great things over there. Then you guys kind of took just a backseat for a minute because you had no picks until the 5th. Now, usually, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders, sometimes practice squad guys who may not even make the team. I mean, you have your Tom Brady's in there every now and then, but Spencer Rattler, okay. Everybody was so high on him. Everybody thought he was going to be maybe I don't know about a first round, maybe even a second round, or some people had him going in the first round, but regardless, Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina, Gamecock, he falls to you. He was so versatile in college, but then I don't know, some people just didn't I don't know. It was weird. Like we heard it in the draft too. They were talking about like, oh well, he does have some things that some teams may be turned off by or whatever. And I don't know. To me, I was like, I like him. I mean, we'll see what he can do. But hey, at least for right now, solid backup. You guys pick him up there. Bub Means, wide receiver out of Pittsburgh, man. 4.43 speed, solid. I'm sure developmental. But realistically, that's what coaches are for, right? So Jalen Ford, a linebacker out of Texas, another solid dude here. Could be a big gem here in the 5th. All right, in the 6th and 7th, well, you guys will pick up Christian Boyd, defensive tackle out of Northern Iowa, and Josiah Isram, which I don't want to butcher his name there, but another tackle out of Eastern Kentucky. So looking at this draft, man, knowing that really it was just 1st and 2nd, and then getting in onto the later picks. What did you think about the draft this year?
Man, we were like myself and some of my friends, a lot of the fan base were pretty pleased with the draft. We all knew as much as we wanted the fantasy, GM our way into getting Jaden Daniels. We knew that was not happening. Everybody's like, we need a quarterback. Like, no, we don't. Like, yeah, we don't want Derek Carr. Let's get Jaden Daniels. Let's bring him home. We're like, dude, that's not happening as much as we want to. And yes, if that happened, but it's not happening. Next thing you know, people are like, New England's not married to that draft pick. Washington's not married to that draft pick. They're bringing in 5 other quarterbacks. There's a chance. There's still a chance. I'm like, no, there's not a chance. Chill out. We need to go offensive line. Stop trying to fantasy book Jaden Daniels to the Saints somehow. People are doing the memes. They're doing the Photoshop jerseys with him in it. They were like, chill out, bro. Chill out, man. Don't get your hopes up so you can be heartbroken and stuff. So we're all being realistic. We need to go offensive line. The Saints win offensive line. And we started looking like, man, if you're watching the draft, you're like, you kind of like going down the list and everything. Okay, this team's getting the quarterback. This team's getting the quarterback. This team's getting the receiver. This team needs this team might get the tight end from Georgia. They had about 5 different teams. You were like, oh yeah, he's going there. No, he's going there. No, and they were like, he could go to the Saints. Like, don't put that evil on us. We don't need a tight end right now. We need an offensive lineman. But you can get that tight end from Georgia. We don't need a tight end from Georgia. Chill out. By that time, we already knew we were getting Kubiak. So everybody was like, that tight end from Georgia will look real good in Kubiak's offense. We're like, no, chill out, bro. We need an offensive line. Chill out. So when we were like, okay, that lineman's gone. Okay, cool, that lineman's gone. If Waga fell to us, we were like, yes, we got one. Now let's go look at it. Let's go watch the film. So we're sitting there looking, and I was like, timeout. Flag on the play. You telling me this dude didn't allow no sacks on that side? What? You should have let off with that, brother. Well, you should have let off with that. That I was like, I'm sold. you got me. So they knocked the first round out the park. And then I started watching the rest of the first round, seeing who we could get in the second. I really myself wanted a D lineman. I wanted one of the D linemen from Texas, and they went. And next thing you know, I was like, well, maybe we can get the receiver from South Carolina. Nope, because guess who had to do that? Carolina. Way to go, Carolina. That whole back end of the draft was hilarious because everybody kept trading with Buffalo. And everybody was like, Buffalo, you need a receiver, bro. What are you doing? And everybody was like, what is Buffalo doing? Everybody they traded with got a receiver. Everybody Buffalo backed off again. The team they traded with got a receiver. Next thing you know, what is they doing? They turn around and get a receiver in the beginning of the second. I was like, I guess Buffalo knew what they were doing. So next thing you know, the Saints come up. They're like, okay, all the dudes I want are off the board now. Who we're getting? Kool-Aid McKinstry? What? Oh, okay. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. And he had the foot injury, but he was they said, they talked to my team and everything, and they were like, we should be on point for training camp. He showed up for OTAs, got the playbook, tried on the uni and the helmet and everything. He was, chilling with his teammates. All right, cool. First day of training camp, guess who's there? Kool-Aid McKinstry. Ha ha. I'm loving it. Okay. Next thing you know, we're off for a couple of, for a while because the lack of draft picks and stuff. The Spencer Rattler thing, that caught a lot of people off guard. The fact that we even got back in to get him got a lot of people off guard. So we were all like, how did he fall like that? Because, like you said, a lot of people had him pegged as one of the top, quarterbacks, coming out of college. There was something about some Netflix thing he did with the quarterbacks. It was like years ago. The dude was like coming out of high school or whatever, and it rubbed people the wrong way. You know how people can be sedity and everything and all uppity about, oh, he talked like this. He's immature. He talked like this. Bro, that was like 3-4 years ago. The dude been through some stuff and he's a whole man now. Chill out. Y'all need to chill out. Because like if you watch the film from the little Netflix thing he did and you watch him his senior year, two totally different people. Two totally different teams for all that. Like he went to South Carolina, and South Carolina's, I don't know who needs to hear this, but their offensive line was bad. Their offensive line was bad out loud. And the fact that man, I was watching his highlights, I was like, that dude was sitting there eating some teams up, but he was using his feet and throwing the ball. So I'm like, that right there, that's what we need. Because our offensive line was not good last year. So we need a dude that can do that. So, a lot of people are optimistic, like, man, Spencer Rattler and Kubiak's offense? Question mark, question mark. So that's been kind of like the hot button topic, Hayner versus Rattler. And everybody's like, okay, I'm here for this. So now you got the fan base like, we're back into it again. Everybody that kind of checked out, they done checked back in now. So that's been cool. The rest of the draft, Bub Means. I like him. Not just as a player, like I watched this film from Pitt, but I like his personality too. The dude is he's the fun dude, man. He's that fun dude we need in the Saints office. The first thing when I heard from him, I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna fit in nice in New Orleans. He's gonna fit in nice. So that was cool. And he's a good pass catcher. He can get up there. I was like, he's gonna be able to develop, especially with the new coaches we got. So I was happy for that. Ford from Texas. We kind of like our linebackers are all right, like behind Demario Davis and Pete Werner. So to get him and to get him to develop and start on special teams and then work your way up. And I like Texas's defense. So to get him, that was pretty cool too. Everybody else, there's gonna be a wait and see because how late they got out of the draft. But other than that, I think the Saints pretty knocked their draft out. They did a pretty good job in the draft to say, we had the picks we had.
Yeah, me too, man. I love it, man. The Rattler pick was great. You know, that's why I thought like, you guys had a very good draft for not even having the basically the full middle of the draft. So I mean, really, you guys did good, man. And the Saints, there's a lot to be excited for, man. We're going right on into this season. Let's get it, man. This season is here. We are just days. Training camp already started. We're days away from the preseason actually getting underway. Here we go, man. I mean, you know, this was recorded last Friday, but when this thing airs on next, Wednesday, well, guess what? Preseason starts tomorrow with the Hall of Fame game. So, I mean, we are here. So let's get it, man. Let's jump on into the season. Taking a look at this year, we got to have here, what is this? The NFC East. And it looks like the AFC West. So looking at the schedule this year, man, I guess the brief sum up, what are you thinking, man? Of course, you know, I used to be the whole, hey, man, try to predict the final record and all that stuff. But that's the same thing as trying to predict a draft grade so early. So when it comes down to it, man, I don't know, maybe give us a range or just tell us how you're feeling, man. How are you confident? How are you feeling with the Saints roster you see now going into this season?
I'm actually kind of confident because, like, the players we were able to retain, especially on defense, it was pretty. We already had like a top 5 defense, and the secondary was the linchpin. Not only did we get a little better, like last year's draft pick Howden at safety, he has a chance to replace the safety that left, and Jonathan Abrams has a chance to replace him too, across from Tyrann Mathieu. And Howden looked pretty good to say he was a rookie. So you're like, all right, Marcus May, that's who we replaced, Marcus May. So Marcus May really didn't do much. He was all right, but then he had like the suspension stuff, and then he was injured some of the time too. So Howden, when he came in, looked really good for a rookie. So if he could take that spot next and be across from a Honey Badger, man, secondary would be straight. Because you telling me you have Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry on your bench. Bro, the DBs are straight. So it's just the linebackers we gotta worry about. You got Demario Davis returning. P. Warder had a solid season, and he took a step forward. And then we went and got Willie Gay Jr. And that dude's like a tackle, cover. He could do it all. Man, the linebacker core just got better. And then we went and got Chase Young. You want to see how Chase Young develops in our defense. We need a pass rusher. Pass rush. We would get pressure, but we couldn't get home. We need some sacks. So if Chase Young could come back from that injury, and him and Granderson and Cam Jordan and all of them can apply some pressure. Brzee in his second year, he did good for a rookie. So if we can get that pass rush to hold hands with that secondary and tra-la-la our way into people's defense, in offense, oh boy, that's what's up. Now the big question mark is, what will the Kubiak offense look like? And will it take the pieces we got and work with something? And the other question mark is the offensive line. We lose Ramczyk. We lost Andres Pete. James Hurst retired. That's 3 people right there. And we have our pick from late round pick last year, Nick Saldivari at guard. He was a developmental dude. He's getting a chance to start. We have Trevor Penning, first round pick from year before, and we're giving him a chance at the opposite side, Ramczyk side. And we got Fuaga, who we just drafted, and he's not going to be playing the side he played in college. He's going to be playing the opposite side because he said he could do it all. He could play either one. So we're like, okay, cool. We're about to give you a chance to prove it. So the offensive line is a little unproven, but the one thing that's giving a lot of people hope is Kubiak and his demeanor. You're like, This dude went and got people, solid coaches. They're going to coach these dudes up. And we have a competent coach. Finally, a competent offensive coordinator. That is the key thing. Because P. Carmichael, bless your heart, bro, you were not competent, dude. That dude, oh man, oh boy, I could do a whole hour on P. Carmichael, and I'm not, because I don't need that type of negativity in my life, and neither do y'all. So I mean, as far as like the scheduling goes, like that first couple of games aren't too favorable. If anything, we could probably make it out 2-2. Because we got some hitters in that first couple of games, but I think we can be a double-digit win team, and that should be enough to get us the NFC South. Because like, no offense to those other teams, but they didn't really do much. They didn't do much, man. Like I said, we basically killed ourselves a lot that last year. We had the check. We had the opportunity, even when we were like third in the South, because like the Panthers were the fourth team forever. Even when we were the third team, we still had a chance to get to the first spot, to the number one spot, because the other two teams were that bad. And we played ourselves a couple of times. So if we can overcome that and the offense could play at least serviceable to the defense, we could leapfrog them two teams and we can be number one. And then we can get into the playoffs. Man, we seen the playoffs last year. Dang. I didn't think the Texans were. Hey, if the Texans can get in there and do damage like that, why can't we? So all you got to do is get in. All you got to do is get in. So I have a lot of hope for the Saints, and so far they sound upbeat and energetic in training camp, especially about that offense. So I can't wait to see, man, if he could do with dudes like Taysom and Kamara and that new tight end we got, undrafted dude Holker, man, I really want to see what this Kubiak offense is gonna look like.
The Saints are coming, man. The Saints are coming. Look at that. Let's say, man, hey, they're marching in. You feel me? I mean, this seems like a team that, once again, we looked at the schedule last year, man. I mean, you're absolutely right. Couple different plays. This team could have won double digits last year. So I mean, couple different positive plays and negative plays.
Man, they had a couple of teams that caught everybody slipping, not just us, everybody. Houston Texans.
Oh,
hey, God. I'm not a Houston Texans guy, but bro, y'all can do, man. I hope y'all kept all them receipts. Everybody that's a CJ Stroud dude, I hope y'all kept all them receipts because y'all deserve that one. Bro, when everybody was saying, oh, you should have got Bryce Young, and Bryce Young this, Bryce Young that, and he was like, CJ Stroud, and he comes out firing?
Yeah.
That boy caught us slipping.
Everybody.
That boy caught us slipping bad. And the same, their receivers were all either like first-year dudes or rookies and ate us up. I was like, bro, hey, I can't even be mad. I can't, respect. 100 respect. I couldn't even be mad at the dude. So they caught us slipping. And then the Jacksonville, we were mad. We were like, they were trying to push, oh man, he's hurt. The quarterback's hurt. Trevor Lawrence is hurt. That dude ain't hurt. That boy got out that pocket and took off running. We like to call him Sunshine from Remember the Titans.
Oh no.
Me and my friends call him Sunshine. So, man, Trevor Lawrence took off running. Pew! We're like, man, ain't nothing wrong with that dude, knee. Stop that stuff. There ain't nothing wrong with that boy, knee. Yeah.
Throwing daggers. If this is the perfect segue, man. This is a little segment that's called "Stick It to 'em" here at the end, man. T5. There are three other teams in the division you love to hate, and it's vice versa. It's a beautiful thing, right? We love our sports. It's all love, but at the same time, man. For those 3 hours, no, we ain't cool. So you got the Panthers, the Bucks, and of course your good old friends, the Atlanta Falcons. Now you have a few minutes here left in the segment. Let's go ahead and get on into this. Let us know how you see those three teams doing this year. And like I said earlier, before we start jumping on the recording, it's okay to sprinkle a little bit on top and show us how you really feel about those teams. So without further ado, T5, stick it to them.
Man, this has like been like a lifelong, like ever since the NFC South was made up, and we still don't like the configuration of that. I still beef with the old NFC West. I can't. San Francisco never sit well with me. I still give San Francisco the business to this day. So if you think that's bad, the NFC South, oh boy. Let's start with like the low hanging fruit. Carolina, they have Bryce Young, and I think that's like the only thing that's good about y'all. Bro, how y'all time out? I just remembered this. How do you get rid of one of the best pass rushers in the league for a bag of Funyuns? Not even a bag of Funyuns. Bro, what was y'all doing? What for realsies? I would have got me a couple of number ones for that, dude. Y'all talk about turning y'all pockets inside out. They got y'all on that one. What was it, the Giants? Bro, they turned y'all pockets inside out. It was like, don't turn around. Don't look. This is a robbery. This is a stick up. This is a stick up. No, you want these? Yeah. Don't turn around. Well, I said don't turn around. Boy, how y'all got y'all defense suck. Bro, I hope Bryce Young, man, then Bryce Young thought he was faster than DeMario Davis. Old DeMario Davis caught that dude lagging. Wham! I was like, I see you, DD. I see you, Double D. Oh, you got caught. Bruh, Bryce Young had to learn. That boy gonna be a tough SOB, bruh. Because that dude took some licks last year. He took some David Carr licks. If you remember David Carr, that boy caught hell that first year with the Texans back in the day. He took some David Carr licks with Carolina last year. And I hope that offensive line didn't get no better. I hope he didn't learn nothing either. So, because Cam Jordan needs a replacement tackling dummy since Matt Ryan retired. Matt Ryan was his tackling dummy. That was his buddy. And he needs a new tackling dummy. And I guess that's going to be Bryce Young. So Carolina will I like the one thing. Okay, I'll say one thing good. The receiver they got from South Carolina. I wanted that dude. That dude is bad ass. And y'all don't deserve him. They do not deserve that dude, especially after that bummy trade. Y'all could have kept him, bruh. Y'all could have had Caleb Williams, you goof. And they went and traded. They got rid of their number one receiver so they can go draft Bryce Young and not have a number one receiver. But they decided to go get aging Adam Thielen. Okay, I guess. So they needed a new receiver. They got one, I guess. I hope that doesn't help any. Carolina, fourth. They only got 4 teams, so I guess they're gonna be fourth. Tampa Bay. Oh boy. Oh, the sucks. Oh, I can't. Just looking at y'all, it's not as fun without Tom Brady, because making Tom Brady pissing Tom Brady off became the new Saints pastime. Pissing Tom, like that whole thing with the with the tablet, bro, that became an actual meme. That was the greatest thing ever. Whenever Tampa Bay fans would try to talk stuff, what about our championship? You worry about us. What about our championship? All we would do is post Tom Brady getting pissed off and throwing that tablet. How you piss a dude off so much that this dude goes to the sideline and throws a tablet? You ain't never see Tom Brady that pissed off before in the history of ever. And that was the greatest. That dude, we lived rent free in that dude's head for a while, pissing him off. And then old Mike Evans. If there's ever been a dude that Saints fans do not like individually, like no matter what team he would go to, if he would have got traded to like Denver, we still wouldn't like Mike Evans. If he would have came to New Orleans, we would have been like, nah, we don't need a receiver that bad. Get out of here. Mike Evans, like, dude, that dude is like there's so many memes of Mike Evans being Marshawn Lattimore's illegitimate son. Like he owns that dude. He takes him to take your kid to work day. There's a meme of him in like the little baby carrier in the front, and Marshawn Lattimore wheeling him around because he does absolutely nothing. He's like under witness protection when he comes in New Orleans. And they go ahead and re-sign him. Like, yeah, great, super, good for y'all. Y'all still gonna be horrible. Baker Mayfield, I respect Baker Mayfield. I actually kind of do. I just don't like him. I can't have you making plays like that, bro. I was a fan of Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. I felt like he got a raw deal, and then he kind of got a little glow up when he went to the Rams for a little bit. But then when he went to Tampa Bay, I was like, oh, bro, why? So Tampa Bay, respectfully, I still don't like y'all. Y'all still aren't the greatest. You're probably gonna suck next year. I don't even know anything they've done to upgrade their team. I guess I'm gonna have to watch the NFC South segment and find out what did they do. What the hell did they do with themselves? Respectfully, like we should have like swept them. There's no way in hell we should have lost to them like that. That don't sit right with me. They're probably gonna be number 3. And now to the ain't Atlanta Falcons. Jesus, Mary, Casey, and JoJo. What can I say about Atlanta that people don't say out loud into their face? Their own fans don't like them, dude. Like their fans drag them. I still have the little meme of the little kid. That kid's probably a whole adult in college now of the little kid with the Atlanta Falcons flag, like somebody hurt this dude. I still have that. That thing's like about 5 years old now, and it's still, man, no offense to the kid, but that still makes me laugh. No matter how bad the season's going. Captain Kirk, bro, they starting off raw. They starting out raw. How you go pick up Captain Kirk Cousins, but then you go turn around and go draft Michael Penix behind the dude's back, bro? This is like Dynasty, bro. This is like a soap opera, bro. How you going? They're out there stab you in the back. Yeah, this is like some Victor Newman, the Young and the Restless stuff, bro. Dude stabbed you in the back. How you go? What do you mean? Hello, agent? What do you mean they drafted Michael Penix? But I'm the starting quarterback. What do you mean? What's turn on the television? What's going on? And the Atlanta Falcons draft Michael Penix. But I'm the starting. They told me. What are they doing? You basically wasted a number 1 pick. basically wasted. Not only did you give Kirk Cousins all that money to come to Atlanta, but then you turn around and wasted the number 1 pick on a starting caliber quarterback. What are you doing, Atlanta? What are you doing? Everybody was afraid. Oh man, they're gonna get this guy. Oh, Atlanta's gonna get this dude. No, they went and got a dang quarterback. Make it make sense, Atlanta. Make it make sense.
And that is how you stick it to him, man. Team 5, ladies and gentlemen. This man right here is doing it. Wow, I can't believe that was a whole hour, man. But hey, you had a lot to say. I love it, man. Great content, man. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure to give this man a follow, man. Who is T Fizzle? on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Man, that was awesome, brother. Any last thoughts, comments, anything you want to throw in here before we're out of here today?
Man, thanks for having me. It's been a blasty blast, man. It's been fun. Just repping the NFC South, repping like, hey. At the end of the day, I'm a football guy. I respect the other teams, sorta, but it's all about the Saints. Who that nation stand up? We're about to bounce back. We're in here. We're out here at UC Irvine, at Cali, doing the West Coast thing. The dry heat. Yeah, we'll get over it. Hey, we're back in here. Yeah, thanks for having me, though, man. It's been fun.
Hey, absolutely, brother, man. It's been having fun. It's been fun having you, and I'm glad you were aboard today. Once again, give him a follow, guys. Who was T Fizzle? And that will do it for the Saints. So with that said, guys, we're gonna take ourselves a quick break. When we get back, we just finished up talking in the Bayou. Now we're headed on over to Carolina to talk about them Panthers. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to 3 and Out, 8 Divisions in 8 Days, NFC South Day, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back talking Panthers after this.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the 08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
You wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your 5-hole.
Catch The Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode. Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernick, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, here we go, guys. We started things off today, started our journey over in the ATL. Then we went on down south to the Bayou. I mean, ATL south, but Bayou was south. We went on down into that Bayou, and now we headed on back over to that East Coast, and we have found ourselves in Carolina. That's right, y'all. Bank of America Stadium. We found ourselves in Carolina, getting ready to talk about them. Carolina Panthers last year was not the best for them, but there is so much to be optimistic for. At least I believe so. And as you guys know, I'm a Bryce Young fan, so I really, really hope that things get to turn around for the better pretty soon. So to help me talk about them Carolina Panthers, man, we had to go find ourselves an extra special super fan that is just a diehard through and through. Glad to have him on here for his first of hopefully many times on this season of 3 and Out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome me once again for his first time here on 3 and Out. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough because it just feels that much better when you come on back the next time. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome me, Catman Jr., or hey, as he goes by, man, CMJ. How's it going, brother? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. That intro was great, man. Thanks for having me on the 3 and Out show, man. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Hey, but the pleasure's all mine. You're very welcome, man. I'm glad to have you aboard, man. It's a lot of fun, man. It's a fun show to do. A lot of time and effort put into all these interviews, but I'll tell you, man, meeting great people like yourself, talking to other diehard fans, it makes it all worth it, brother.
Yeah. All right, now.
So, all right. Well, Cat, man, let's get to it, man. We're gonna talk a little bit about last season. I know. You're probably like, you're gonna click out of here. I know. We usually go in depth, or at least kind of depth with this, but I'm gonna go through this really fast because there was nothing to look at really here. I mean, let's just be real. So looking at last season, I mean, look, man, you can see L's. There's L's. There's L's here. There's L's there. There's L's over here, and there's L's over there. I mean,
Hey, that could be a cat in the hat book, can't it? There's L's here, L's there, there's L's everywhere.
The truth, man. I mean, I hate it.
It's the truth. Look, it's the truth.
It sucks, man. I mean, only 2 victories of the season. I mean, I don't even got to go over every game. Only 2 victories of the season were Week 8 versus the Texans, which was very surprising. I mean, obviously, with the Houston Texans becoming very successful last year, and with the rookie versus rookie quarterback showdown, all that good stuff. And then Atlanta, man, you guys squeaked out a very, very weird victory over Atlanta in Week 15. Other than that, man, it was the whole season was a wash. Just a tough one. Yeah, man, what was last season for you like?
Man, last season was horrible. It was the worst. Well, yeah, it was the worst because the last time we were that bad, we had light at the end of the tunnel because we knew we were going to get Cam Newton, but this one was like, oh my gosh, we're trash and we're not even going to get rewarded for it because we don't have a pick. So this year was the worst, man. It was horrible. And then, like you said, the 2 wins that we did have, we never led in the game. So them easily could have been L's, you know what I'm saying? So I've never seen a team win a game without leading in the whole time of regulation. So it was a tough season, man. We couldn't turn it. We couldn't force turnovers. We turned it over a lot. We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't run the ball. I mean, it was just the worst, man. We never could stop the bleeding. We didn't have as great as coaching staff as we thought we had. Because once Frank Wright was fired, all the news came out that they weren't even on the same page. David Tepper had a secret spy. It was just terrible, man. It was the worst season ever. And as I can speak for all the Panther Nation when I say I'm glad it's over,
And that's where it's gonna stay over. We're done with it. We got rid of it. It's goodbye.
It's good, man. Let's lock it and throw away the key.
Yeah, that's it, man. Hey, courtesy ESPN.com there, but yeah, get out of here. Yeah, we're done with that. We're still gonna be on ESPN though, because we're gonna get into this off season, man. I mean, we're talking a little bit about this off season. Not the most eventful off season, but there were some things that were done. So obviously, you guys had here early. Chris Tabor is gone. You guys fired the special teams coordinator. You guys signed Steve Sullivan. LeBron Ray. I mean, let's pick up some more players here. Nick Thurman, the defensive line, release Hayden Hurst. You guys would bring in J.J. Jansen. I mean, it's a lot of moving pieces. You know what I mean? Josie Jewell, different moves here and there. Obviously, we'll get to the draft in a little bit. But when we look at this, Rashad Penny, you know what I mean? Like Cam Gill, these players here. What did you think about this offseason as a whole, aside from the draft?
Hey, and me personally, I thought it was one of the best off seasons we've ever had. We actually upgraded and filled a lot of needs. And the ones that we failed to get, we got them in the draft. You know, when we're going to talk about the draft later. So I'll talk about the free agents. I mean, we went and got Clowney. He's coming off the most sacks in his career, and he's a well-known run stuffer. So I think that's an upgrade from Byron Burns. Then we went and got A'Shawn Robinson. Like I said, man, we couldn't stop the run last year. Even with Derrick Brown having a standout year, he can't do it alone. So we went and got A'Shawn Robinson. We retained Shy Tuttle. Josie Jewell is a dog. Now, I don't think he can replace Louisville, but I seen a clip of him hitting Derrick Henry in the hole, and ain't no too many linebackers got no film sticking Derrick Henry like that in the hole. You know, so we got him. We got DJ Wanham. He scored a touchdown on us when he played for Minnesota. So it's good to have him on our team now. When you look at the offense, everybody know we couldn't block. We went and spent $150 million on offensive guards. You know, then we got a right tackle from Green Bay. Can't pronounce his name very well. And then we went and got Deontay Johnson. Nobody had a higher winning off the jam than him. And if we're trying to throw it fast, 2 seconds, he's open. So hopefully that them free agents can come in and get a groove with us with the guys that we retain and be a different team this year,
That's for sure, man. I mean, looking through all these, I mean, yeah, man, I really do feel that this team has there's something to smile about. I do. I mean, because you're right, the offseason, I didn't even look at it in depth like that. But that's right. Clowney coming on over was huge. Let's see what these guys can do here, man. I mean, look, everyone last year was so excited, and now is a perfect segue to get on into this draft, man, because everybody last year obviously so excited. You get the quarterback, you get Bryce Young. This was the draft, by the way, not during the season or no. Everybody was really excited. Draft, we knew he was going to be, first overall. He was going to be off the board, and everyone has such high hopes, man. And me personally, as we were talking about before we even jumped on this interview, following him since the days at Modern Day, and just knowing that he was going to do great things in his future, man. Just getting to the NFL and having one of the toughest seasons you could possibly have as a rookie. That was hard, man. So hopefully, he does bounce back. But looking at the draft this year, you guys went ahead and my goodness, I mean, seeing what was done, I mean, overall, this is pretty legit, man. You guys, didn't have the first round. We came on into the first round, traded into it. And Xavier Leggett, this guy comes in with wide receiver from South Carolina. Okay, cool. You guys trade with Buffalo. And you guys got yourself another weapon for Bryce. That's nice, man. Okay, you mentioned some offensive line pickups in the free agency. Protect him, get him some weapons. Jonathan Brooks, a dude that a lot of people really, really liked. I had him possibly being a first rounder, maybe not in my mock draft. I really think that he is a solid athlete, but big pickup here. Next year, this right here, man, Trip Wallace, inside linebacker out of Kentucky, SEC linebacker, pretty solid, hard-hitting dude here, man. Really, really, really looking forward to seeing him in the NFL. Jatavion Sanders here, tight end out of Texas. He's actually a really big dude. I thought he'd go a little bit earlier as well in the fourth round. And then later on in the draft, I'm a Pac-12 guy, rest in peace. But, I'm a West Coast guy myself. So, Charles Smith-Wade, this dude right here, pretty solid player. Developmental player, I think, out of Washington State, but solid, man. You guys bring in a SEC defensive tackle here. Jaden Crumedy, defensive tackle out of Mississippi in the 6th round. And then the 7th round, hey, why not? I mean, if there's still a national champion on the board, why not take him? Linebacker out of Michigan, Michael Barrett. Once again, these guys here at the end, you don't know. Maybe they'll be fighting for a roster spot. Maybe they'll make it. Practice teamers, whatever it may be. But overall, looking at these draft picks, you already mentioned, you guys filled some needs. What were your overall thoughts on this draft as a whole?
My overall thoughts of the draft as a whole, man, I gave us a B plus. I really did. I feel like Xavier Leggett, us trading up to get him opens up the 5th-year option we'll be able to take on him. That was really big. You know what I'm saying? And then like everybody was up on Jonathan Brooks. I had him as the best running back in the draft. You know, if he had a torn ACL, I don't see us getting him. You know what I'm saying? And then with the tight end, we lost Hayden Hurst. So bringing this guy in, I could be mistaken, but nobody had more receiving yards than this guy. You know what I'm saying? So he knows how to catch the ball and get up the field with it. He's young. He's fresh. I'll take him because we haven't had the tight end since Greg Olsen. The cornerback we got, I can see him fighting for a roster spot maybe. Corner probably is the weakest position on our team outside of J.C. Horn. You know what I'm saying? So I really was expecting us to sign Gilmore by now so we can have that trio of South Carolinas back there. But I don't know about the money, so let's not speak on that. But, yeah, so Wade is a good pickup. The linebacker from Kentucky, I see him as being the X factor for us. If he can get after the quarterback, I'll be happy with him. You know what I'm saying? I already know he can hit hard and stuff to run, but can you cover and can you get some sacks? You know, so that's my worry with him. The other defensive tackle, it's going to probably be harder for him to get on the field because of so many additions and free agency and stuff. I think they just got him for depth. And then that last linebacker, like you said, man, it's good to have that championship pedigree on your team at all times, no matter, regardless of the level of championships. Any championship on any level is hard to acquire. You know what I'm saying? So just to get that I know what it takes attitude on the team is good to have. You know what I'm saying? So I like our draft. We feel some needs. We got a lot of arguably the best player in the position, not receiver, but running back and tight end. To get that stud of a tight end in the 3rd round is a steal, you know. So I like the draft, man. And really at this point, it's all about Bryce Young. You know, are you going to take a step?
And that is so big, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
You're right, because that's the captain of the ship, man. You can get all the pieces. You can get every piece you want to get. But if you don't got the dude behind center slinging the ball, it
ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. And then on the flip side, you can have nobody. But if the guy that's behind the center is a baller, you would think you had a team full of all-stars.
Look at how many years Aaron Rodgers made receivers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers made receivers. Yeah,
right. I mean,
he did because no one knows who Greg Jennings is.
No,
no one knows Donald Driver. I think he played with Brett Favre. Both of them Green Bay quarterbacks be good though.
Yeah, that was back in the Bubba Franks day, I think, when that was. Yeah, I remember those days. But I'll tell you, man, you're right. And see, let's just hope that Bryce gets it together because this draft was pretty good. I'm thinking you're right. All the chips are in though. Everybody, the front office, everyone's like, okay, we're not pulling the plug on. Look, it was 1 year. The team wasn't that greatly put together. Bryce, we needed him. Now we're going to add some more. Now, if this is happening 2 years down the road, or this season, okay, wait a minute. You know what I mean? But they're really, really trying hard with him. Man, I'm hoping it comes together for him, man. So
me too. Nobody wants it to come together more than me.
I'm with you, right? I'm with you. Are you at every game? Do you try to go to every game?
I go to every home game.
Yeah, every home game. I mean, every home
game. Yeah.
You'd be crazy if you went to the away ones, man. I don't know what kind of job you had at that point. Like,
I ain't got that much money. I'll keep it in Charlotte, boy.
I'm with you. Yeah, man. I never understood that, Cat, man. I never understood that, how some folks like do that whole like traveling, man. I'm like, what do you do?
I know a couple that go to every single game. I know one guy, he's a Washington fan, and he goes to every single game, all 17 of them. And I was just like, all 17 of them. And I was just like, man, how you do it? And he was just like, man, it's definitely a crushing blow financially, man. It did. It really is.
I mean,
because it's the flight, the game tickets, the hotel. Then you got to park, you got to eat. It's crazy.
I mean, Yeah, that's hard. That's
Yeah.
man, that's crazy. So, getting into this season, Kev, man, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this year. We got a whole bunch of a whole new slate of games. This is it. This is a different story now. Last year
Oh
is
yeah.
done, gone forever. Thank God. And here we go into this season. So, looking at the NFC South as a whole, you know what? Okay, there's some, we see the other three teams making their moves, things happening here, things happening there. Overall, the NFC South looks pretty open, at least from my perspective. But looking at everybody else, man, looks like you have here the AFC West this year. That looks like fun. My Raiders are in there in Game 3. Look at that one in Vegas. And then we got here, looks like the NFC, I believe, East. NFC East. So with that, what are we looking at, man? What do you think? I mean, obviously you've got the Chiefs in there. Tampa Bay is always a tough go.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, man. I mean, you got some tough games in the schedule, but at the same exact time, some of these games, look like getting it together at the right times, man. This team could really make something happen. What are you thinking? When you look at the schedule, man, how confident are you? How do you think they're going to do this year?
When I look at the schedule, I don't see a tough schedule. I see a few tough games. I see a few teams that I know, if I'm being realistic now, we can't, we're not ready to beat right now. And it's only maybe one team, maybe two teams in our schedule that say that. And that is Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Those are the only two teams where I see there's no chance we win. Other than that, I really do believe we can at least snag away 10 wins this year. If we can focus and execute and not turn it over, because I look at last season, I know we've thrown last season away, but I look at last season and we lost 6 or 7 games by 6 points or less. You know what I'm saying? We were right there, so fast forward to now, the holes that's been plugged in, the bugs that got fixed, we done crossed the T's, we dotted the I's. I look at the first game against the Saints, we can get a win. It's going to be tough. Any divisional game is tough, and then we at home in the dome. I know all that. But we can sneak one out of it. We can get one. I feel like the Chargers lost everything. They're depleted. They're officially a rebuild, losing your starting 2 receivers and your starting running back. A new coach. We can beat them at home, our first home. We can beat them. And then I think, we got the Raiders after that. That's your team, but I think we can come in there and get y'all too.
Hey, man, it's the Raiders, brother.
I think we can. The Bengals, we play them after that. I think that's a tough one to win with Joe Burrow and all that. But him missing a lot of last season and off of that injury, you don't know what you're going to get, so we might get the win now. You see what I'm saying? So we got some wins on our season, man, if we can just take care of the football. Simple as that.
And that's the recipe, ain't it? That's the whole deal right there.
Take care of the football. The defense is there. If you're any kind of football fan, the Carolina Panthers are going to play defense. Oh, yeah. We were the only team in the NFL that was a top 5 defense in total yards now. Total yards with a losing record. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we were a top 5 defense with a losing record. How does that happen? We couldn't score. We couldn't move it. We could 3 and like your show is called, man. 3 and out. You know what I'm saying?
It's the truth, man. Yeah, man, trust me, man. I played this game for 20 years. It's a.
Hey, so and if you play defense, you really know. I can't stop them forever. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Cat
can't
man,
stop them forever.
I played on some teams, man. Even a couple of years in high school, man. You get out there with the defense, we're ready to go, man. Get that ball back. Let's go. And I say this every now and then on the show, man. Get out there. Let me get some water. Here we go. Intercept. Oh, damn it. Run back out there. Get it back. Okay, here we go. We're good, man. Where's that water at? Let me get that. Yeah, fumble. Oh, man. Get back out there. And you can do that for about a quarter or two. But
that was literally our game. That was what would happen. And we didn't like this how it's happening. We get the ball 3 and out. We stop them. They might get 1 first down. They play. And we get the ball again, 3 and out. and we stop them, and then we get the ball again, 3 and out, and then we stop them, and then we get the ball, and now here comes the fumble at our own 30, and then they score. You know what I'm saying? And it's like looking at the stats and watching the game is two different things. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell people all the time, stats lie. You have to watch the games. If you're not watching the games, you're not knowing what's really happening. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you're not going to base the game off of the
because our defense was stellar. And they were like, well, y'all gave up 27 points, but do you know they didn't score that until half of the points that they scored was a pick six? They offense ain't scored nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Their offense.
If the offense get the ball inside the 5, I mean, come on, bro.
It shouldn't be too much harder than that. I mean, my God, if y'all can't score from inside the 5, and that's the first time you're on the field for that series,
you know,
if you can't get in the end zone, you don't need to be playing the game no more.
Right. And then the defense been out there 20 minutes already. Like, I mean, that's just a recipe of disaster for our team. So I'll give you a perfect example. When we played the Dallas Cowboys at home, they scored 17 points in a minute and 12 seconds. 17 points. Now, how? When you look at the score, you be like, damn. You know, like, they put up 17 points in a minute and a half. They scored a touchdown. We got the ball. We threw a pick six. They scored. We got the ball. Turned it over. They kicked the field goal. 17 points in a minute and some change. And I'm just sitting there like, and the Cowboy fans is going berserk. I mean, our stadium is 80% Cowboy fans. I mean, it's just terrible. We really need our culture back, man. We need something. I hope Bryce Young. And see, Bryce Young is not as... See, Cam Newton had that aura. He had an aura about him. I don't get that vibe from Bryce Young, man. I just don't. And to put a franchise, like, it's one thing to come take over for a franchise who has great culture and history. It's another thing to take over for a franchise who's down and out and really don't have much to hang their hat on besides Cam, Luke, Steve Smith, you know, but that's just, we don't have a lot, you know. You got some teams like the Steelers, you know, even Oakland can hang their hat on the diehard fans. You know, when you think Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, you think, man, you don't want to go to the black hole. Even when y'all were 2-12, you don't want to go to the black hole. You know, you had a culture, man, and we lack that. And I don't think Bryce has enough personality to get us over the hump. Now, if his play can do the talking, then great. But as far as that swag, that extra, Bryce is lacking that, man.
Yeah, and that's another part of his. That's something he just has to build on. I mean, just I don't know, man. It sucks. Like I said, I really want him. I had so many high hopes, but let's see how this season goes. I really hope something happens. But if not, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, you know what you and I both know, and everybody listening right now knows what the NFL stands for. Not for long. And either A, injuries are going to take you out, okay?
Yeah.
Or B, you're going to take yourself out in some crazy way. Okay, you're going to be Derek Anderson laughing on the sideline over there. If you remember all that, you know what I mean?
And if you blink, it happens fast.
Exactly.
It happens fast. And I always say this, man, we got a new head coach now, and he can be politically correct. And I tell people all the time, when Bill Belichick was asked about the Jets, and he told everybody that they were a great team, and then the Patriots went out there and beat them 56-0. You know, they have to be politically correct. You know, so Dave Canales can get on here and talk all good about Bryce Young all he wants. But I know the truth. You are the head coach, and that's not your guy. You didn't draft him. You didn't bring him in. You didn't recruit him. You know what I'm saying? So Bryce Young's clock is ticking. It's ticking.
It is ticking fast, and you got to prove yourself quick. So let's see what happens this year, man. I want to see what happens. This division, as a matter of fact, our last segment is all based on this division. The entire division. And well, this is a little segment we like to call "Stick It to 'Em." Now, Oh, I think, as a diehard, I think you would know a thing or two about sticking it to your rivals, man. So
Can I cut you off right quick?
go ahead.
So I had just made sticking it to my rivals. That's perfect because our first game, the Saints, I came out with a diss track on the Saints. It's on my Twitter page. I used
Get out of here.
I used the Kendrick Lamar a lot like us beat, and I went on. I went on and let the Saints have a piece of my mind, man. So on your time, when you get time, go check that out. It's on my Twitter page.
I'm gonna do that right after we're off.
I also got one coming for the Falcons and the Bucks as well.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Like this. So yeah, I already know what it's like to stick it to them rivals, man.
Ain't nothing wrong with. Your volume go down or something?
Yeah, I had you on my glasses, man, and they just died on me.
Oh, okay.
The speakers in my phone are a little low.
Okay, you're good. Okay, so here's what we'll do, man. We'll stick it to them and get on out of here, man. So check it out. Kev, man, talk to us, man. There's 3 other teams in this division that you love to hate, and the feeling's always mutual. It is the Saints, the Buccaneers, and your good old buddy pals, man. Those you know who they are. Those I can't say this without laughing. 28-3.
28-3, right?
I'm sorry.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. So the Falcons, you got them your good old friends down in the bayou, and then obviously, all of the teams you love to hate. Okay, all of them. Okay. Now, with that said, those other 3 teams. We talked about your team already and how you thought they were going to do. But how do you think those other 3 teams are going to do? Once again, Falcons, Bucks, Saints. How do you think they're going to do this year? And, and be, of course, just, let us know how you think. And then on top of that, sprinkle a little bit on top if you'd like and let us know how you really feel. Be professional, but talk some crap. It's okay with me. So with that said, Kev, man, stick it to them.
All right, so with the Bucks, man, they just trash. Baker Mayfield is not for real. He had Dave Canales. Dave Canales showed his work with his quarterbacks. At that year he got them, they play good. So now he's gone. I think the Bucks are gonna fall tremendous. They done paid him. You know what I'm saying? It's over for the Bucks. I don't think Mike Evans is happy there. It's over for them. The Falcons went and signed Kirk Cousins. When I saw that, I was like elated because now he can eat up all their salary cap and not do anything because that's what Kirk Cousins does. Do you like that? You know what I'm saying? Because Kirk Cousins hasn't done anything to worthy of that money.
I got Penix. Just kidding.
And then when I look at Kyle Pitts, he's looking like a bust. He's a bust. And then they don't have any. They're not stopping nobody. When you're in the Super Bowl 28-3 and you lose, your franchise is just damaged. This ruined. This damaged goods. Sell the team, okay? And then when I look at the Saints, they're trash too. Like their defense is older now. Like we're not scared of Cam Jordan anymore. And then when you look at the offense, I think when Derek Brown slammed Kamara last year, he was just slamming everything out of him. He's not going to be the same player. They don't have a tight end that can beat us down the middle. And nobody's scared of their wide receivers. And Derek Carr is trash. Let's be for real. If you're a Raider fan, Derek Carr is trash. Let's be for real. You know what I'm saying? So all the Panthers have to do is don't turn it over, and we'll win the division easily, And after that, anything can happen once the playoff starts. We got a good defense. I mean, a lot of people, when they judge us what we're going to do this year based off what happened last year. And if you know football, you can't do that. Teams change, and you have to play the games. And I like our chances over anybody.
Let's get it, man. Capman Jr., man, just bringing it to us, sticking it to him hard over here. I love it, man. I'm loving the hype. I'm loving the diss track, man. I even threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, do I got all the teams right? Like, I want to go hear this diss track, damn it.
Hey, go check it out, man, because I'm telling you, it's fire, bro. I'm
about to go right now. I really, with that said, Capman. With that said, man, anything else you want to say? Any comments that to the Panther fans out there? Anything else? What you got?
All I got to say is keep pounding, man. Panther Nation, I got us, man. Y'all already know what it is.
That's what's up, brother. Hey, man, thank you so much for being on the show today, man. I'm so glad you're able to be a part of it, man. Thank you so much for lending your time. If you want to head on over, man, give him a follow, all you Panthers fans out there, at Catman Jr. 87. This dude right here is the real deal, man. Glad to have him aboard for your first time. And like I said, man, hopefully we have you on many, many more times to come. So with that said, you guys, we're all done with the Panthers. We start with the Falcons, on to the Saints. We just finished up with the Panthers in Carolina, and we're taking us straight down south, man. Heading on down south to Tampa Bay to finish off with them Buccaneers. He's just on one, man. We're going to finish up with them Buccaneers. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. NFC week, NFC South Day, right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is supposed to be right back talking Buccaneers after this.
Well, what is up, Carolina Nation? This is John Felipe of the Carolina Cast, of course, the podcast of, by, and for the Carolinas, right here on IE Sports, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'm reminding you to tune in Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern for the latest in Carolina sports, whether it's the Panthers that keep on pounding, the fly natures of the Hornets, the storming Hurricanes, the battle of the Blues with Duke and UNC, the fight of the Clemson Tigers, or the amazing atmosphere of any Carolina college. I'm talking App State, I'm talking ECU. I've got you covered. Once again, tune in for the Carolina Cast with me, John Felipe, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, here we go, guys. This is the final team of the NFC North. We've made it, y'all. We started things off earlier today in the ATL. We went on over to the Bayou to talk about them Saints. We just finished up in Carolina with those Carolina Panthers. And now we have made our way down south to Tampa Bay to talk about them Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. The team is just a few years removed from hoisting a Lombardi themselves. Will they have another one soon? I'll tell you right now, last year, that caught everybody by surprise. And, just saying, a few more things would have gone their way. They could actually probably been there. I mean, this team has a solid team. Can they get all the way to the promised land this year? We don't know. But what I do know is I got a great dude to talk about them Buccaneers with. And I'll tell you, I couldn't have nobody better. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, the host of Palm Tree Sports here on IE Sports Radio. Right here, give him a follow at Palm Tree _IE. Also, show him some love, man, at Pull Holes Corey. I mean, that's his name, so introduction complete. Ladies and gentlemen, how we talk about the Buccaneers, man, welcome me to the show, host of Palm Tree Sports here at IE Sports Radio. Our boy Corey Pujols, what's going on? But how you doing today, man?
It's so good to be here, Larry. Thank you for so much for having me. I can't wait to get into this about Tampa Bay. I always love getting on this show. 3 and Out, ladies and gentlemen, talk about what's going on down here in the T-Town, Tampa of Bay. We call it Title Town, baby. And yeah, I can't wait to get into it. I got a whole bunch of information for you guys, especially if you haven't been watching. Get ready to be off your rocker because this team is coming. They're coming fast.
Oh, I'm excited, but let's get to it, man. Let's go and jump right into these fools, man. Last year, the Buccaneers, oh my gosh. If teams could give heart attacks, I'm sure they probably have in the past. But these dudes right here, man, not good for your health. At least not last year, man. As a Bucs fan, I'm sure. Because we start things off, let's go ahead and jump on into that and get that season up on the screen here. Because boy, oh boy, was that a season. So starting things off, man. 2 back-to-back wins. Okay, you knock off 2 teams. One of them decent. The other one not so decent. Regardless, it doesn't matter. 2-0 starts are always nice. Then a tough loss there to Philadelphia. Of course, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. So obviously they're a tough team. Yeah. They're going to play extremely hard. And guess what? It amounted in a loss. But at the end of the day, man, that was a great Monday Night Football game. And, let's just say, the Buccaneers still found their way into the playoffs. Then a nice little victory there over New Orleans going into the bye week, early bye week for you guys. And then the wheels just kind of fell off, man. 4 straight losses, Detroit, Atlanta, Buffalo, and Houston. You would get 1 victory in there, thankfully, or else that would have been a way, way worse losing streak. But got a nice little victory over there. Over Tennessee at home, and then 2 straight losses on the road, man. San Francisco and Indianapolis. That game still a head scratcher in Indianapolis. Regardless, another win streak for you guys. Okay, this time, well, it was 2 games more than your previous win streak. Carolina, Atlanta, Green Bay, and Jacksonville, man, swooping up 4 in a row right there. Could have been even more. Unfortunately, man, the rivals took you guys down on New Year's Eve, New Orleans. But then you finish out the season in a very weird 9-0 victory over Carolina on the road. But hey, it doesn't matter, man, because y'all got the victory regardless. And that was that, man. Then we get into the postseason. Not only did you get redemption for that loss you guys took to Philly earlier in the season, beating them and knocking them out of the wild card, but you head on to the divisional round, and that was another game that was so dang close. 8 points, man. That was such a close game. Unfortunately, falling to Detroit, man. That was a game you guys lost in the regular season as well. Regardless, though, you guys got it. You guys got to that point. Buccaneers look better than I think anybody else thought they gave them credit for, all season long. This team fought, man. It was a great one. How about this? Give us every raw emotion as a Bucs fan last year.
As you mentioned before with having the heart attack bit, Tampa Bay is probably top 3 in all of sports when it comes to giving a heart attack. You mentioned before, right? Obviously, the GOAT leaving, right? After we won a Super Bowl, had Tom Brady, and you go from that and you say, okay, so what do you do next, right? Well, the answer is simple. You rebuild. And when you rebuild, you're going to need guys on your team that are dogs, like Baker Mayfield, who came in and played phenomenal. As you mentioned, to start the season, we won 2 in a row, and then we hit a 4-game losing streak. Then we won, we won 4 in a row later in the season, of course, which was massive. So when you look at some of these games, obviously some of these games you fully suspect for them to lose during that original 4-game losing streak. All 4 of those teams were playoff teams. So that makes perfect sense. Obviously, don't forget the 49ers won the NFC. So they, represented the NFC in the Super Bowl. That's the type of team that you don't mind losing to. I'm also a Niners fan, but the Buccaneers are my first love when it comes to football. So realistically speaking, it was a hard game to watch, but I think that game really, helped Tampa Bay realize, hey, listen, we can play with the big dogs. Like, we can play. Oh, this is the team that's favored to win the NFC. Okay, cool. No big. We can do this. And so, we go back on this 4-game win streak towards the end of the season. And that really was just a propeller, if you will, into the playoffs. When we got into the playoffs, we saw a couple of old adversaries, including the Eagles. Tampa Bay was the only team in the NFL to stop the tush push. And in doing so, we were able to defeat the Eagles in that early playoff wildcard game that we absolutely just destroyed them. And it was a great feeling. The Buccaneers and Eagles, though they may not be division rivals, they have played many, many times, both in the regular season and in the playoffs. And I would consider them one of Tampa Bay's biggest rivalries outside of the division. Inside the division, of course, the Aints, It always been our biggest rival. Respect or no respect given, regardless of how we feel, that is the team that we feel is the threat in the NFC South. The Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons are kind of just there. They exist. They take up a space, if you will. And as a result, I think that this unit played very well with little, to play with. When you look at all the new pieces, including a new quarterback, okay? Now, Tampa Bay won their Super Bowl with Tom Brady as the new quarterback, but he's Tom Brady. Okay, if anybody was going to do it, it was going to be him. So a lot of people were writing Baker Mayfield off. They're saying, no, he's done. This is a bad make it or break it year for a quarterback. Again, I believed in him. I'm really, really glad that he came out and performed the way that he did. He showed that not just him, but this entire organization has a lot of dog in him. And like you said, surprised the hell of a lot of people this past season. 9-8, division crown. I mean, what is there to be upset about except for that really questionable loss against the Lions to end the season in the playoffs? I mean, this team were playing against a great Lions team. That Lions team is great, but you know who is greater than the Lions? The referees, and it's really hard to beat refs. So, this team played really, really well to lose an 8-point game to the Lions, who would eventually fall in the following week. So it is what it is, but this was a great season by Tampa Bay. I'm super duper proud of them, and I really can't wait to see what we're going to do this upcoming season. I mean, there's a lot of promise for this young team right now.
Oh, that's a perfect segue, man, because we're going to jump right into the offseason, man. I mean, great way to tackle that, man. Awesome job on the analysis there. Taking a look here at what happened. I mean, season ends. Okay, now what are we going to do? Why don't we just name Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator? Sweet.
Right.
Shaq Barrett on his way out. Mike Evans sticks around for a 2-year extension. Cool. Levante David re-signed to a 1-year. You guys have Jordan Whitehead coming back home, man. I mean, it's all these different moving pieces. Obviously, I'm not going to say them all. We're going to get into the draft as well. But, I'm trying to save some of the spotlight for you, man. So go on ahead. Let us know. What were your biggest and also most disappointing transactions of the offseason?
So, that you make a really, really good point that there were a lot of big and a lot of small with this team, right? So the biggest ones for me would be the re-signing of Baker Mayfield. Of course, we saw how he played this past season, played phenomenal. So again, how could we not keep him? I think that was a no-brainer move for Tampa Bay. And I'm glad that me and Jason Light have the same, mental capacity for this team. Mike Evans was the biggest re-signing. Of course, there's no real discussion that needs to be had when you're dealing with a guy like Mike Evans. This guy's potentially at any given time a top 5 wide receiver in the league, if not the best. 1,000 yards receiving every season since he's been in the league, and it doesn't matter the person throwing the football. This guy is a quarterback's best friend, and keeping him was a no-brainer, and I think the biggest move for Tampa Bay. When you look at the third biggest move, I think that has to be Antoine Winfield Jr. When you look at the stats, Antoine Winfield Jr. is without a shadow of a doubt the best safety in the league. The stats say it. The gameplay proves it. Go look at the tape, and you can decide that for yourself. I understand Kyle Hamilton over there with the Ravens, great safety. Sorry, dude, you come second to Antoine. This is the best safety in the league, and he proved it multiple times every single game that they played last season. So those 3 signings, I would say, were the 3 biggest. Obviously, that's just re-signings, but to go look at somebody else who wasn't with Tampa Bay and found his way back to Tampa Bay, as you mentioned, Jordan Whitehead pairing with Antoine Winfield Jr., top 5 safety duo in the league. This man is a very hard-hitting, nose on the football kind of guy. You are not going to get by Antoine Winfield Jr. or Jordan Whitehead in this defense, and I think, again, that's one of the top 5 best safety duos in the league at the moment. When I look at some disappointing offseason moves, Shaq Barrett, losing out on him really hurt. That guy was just a dog from the moment he came from Denver over to Tampa Bay. He had that 19.5 sack season a few years back. He was a guy that just made Patrick Mahomes feel uncomfortable in both regular season and Super Bowl game during our Super Bowl performance. And he was just an absolute juggernaut on the outside side of the line. But sensing some doubt, I suppose, maybe in himself or perhaps just in the game for the time being. He did retire, so I feel like that was the best move for him. Congratulations to Shaq Barrett on an amazing career and a Super Bowl victory. But realistically, he did go to Miami before announcing his retirement. Regardless of that, I think that's the best move for him. But it did suck because I really was hoping that we'd be able to keep that young man. Devin White is no longer with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He signed a one-year deal with the Eagles after a very stressful and lackluster year this past season. He was the guy that we had a lot of high hopes for, but he kind of started asking for unrealistic things. And, when that happens, you can see that there's a differential. Once there's a differential, now it's time to either, move in or move on, and we moved on. So those were a couple of the disappointing moves that really were just kind of rough to deal with, I think, at the end of the day. But I think there's a lot more shine than nighttime when you look at this team and what they did in the offseason. I'm super excited for who we were able to keep. Guys, for those of you who are worried about Tristan Wirfs, don't worry. They're inconsistent, talks about a contract. He wants to stay in Tampa. Tampa wants to keep him. It may be one of those things where he's just got to wait one season when the money's in the bank and he can truly get that. But we're going to pay the man. I mean, there's no way we're letting arguably the best tackle in the league walk away. So we're definitely going to pay him. Look out for that, whether it's this season or sometime during the season or the end of the season. But understand this, there's little to no chance that Tristan Wirfs walks away unless somebody literally just throws the bank at him. So that's what it is right now. I think for the most part, that's how I feel about the offseason. I'm super glad with all of these moves, like I said before, and I can't wait to see how they integrate into the lineup. It's going to be a great season for us.
Oh, I love it, man, especially with this draft you guys had on top of it, man. Oh, my goodness. We look at this draft, and, bro, we have ourselves a good little draft here, don't we, Buccaneers? Man, I love this. Graham Barton, man, guard out of Duke. Dude is a great interior offensive lineman, man. I'll tell you right now, this dude is a monster. As it says right here on ESPN.com, courtesy of ESPN.com. Ryan Jensen, of course, retired. Well, this guy right here can totally fill the gap, man. You have Chris Braswell, man. This guy, linebacker of Alabama, totally could have went in the first round. Absolute beast. Tyke Smith, a DB out of Georgia. I think they know a thing or two about winning. A solid athlete there. I'm a Pac-12 guy. Rest in peace. But, man, Jalen McMillan, a wide receiver out of Washington. Dude has hands. He's got speed. He's got a lot of great things, man, to deliver, to bring to a team. And I'm really excited to see what he does with the Buccaneers. Next up, Bucky Irving, a dude that can definitely fit in that backfield somewhere, man, out of Oregon. Guy is very versatile, looking strong. Then you get into the later round guys, man. Elijah Klein, guard out of Utah, maybe some depth there. And even Devin Culp, man. This guy, a tight end out of Washington. More of a blocking tight end, but he's actually pretty quick, man. Overall, solid draft, man. I feel that the Bucs did a really good job this year, man. So what did you think overall?
Yeah, I think that this team they've been drafting amazing for the last 5 years. There's no doubt about that, right? But when you look at this draft looks exceedingly exceptional just due to the fact that obviously when you go out and you get Graham Barton at number one, the fact that he's still there is a question mark. Obviously, there are a bunch of teams that feel like their offensive line is good to go, and that just made all the more difference for Tampa Bay to go out and get this guy. I actually been watching. I'm always watching tape when it comes to my team, but they actually targeted him before the draft even happens. They had surmised that he would be available late in the first round, and if he was, that's exactly who they were going to go with. That was our number one first round draft pick in mock drafts inside the Tampa Bay organization. So whenever you're able to get a guy like this, I mean, he's massive. He's a tank of a human being. This is the kind of guy where it doesn't matter where you put him on the line. He can play center. He can play left. He can play right. It doesn't matter. You can play out of 2-point stance. Whatever you need him to do, he can do it, but he can't just do it. He does it well. And that's why I compare him to a tank. He reminds me of how the military would use the tank to set up the personnel, the infantry personnel around them to be able to flank and maneuver or outmaneuver, more importantly, the other or the enemy tanks, whatever the situation was. It was always chess and never checkers with a guy like this. And I think when you have somebody with the mentality of a tank that's able to enable those around him to be successful while doing his job just as equally effective, this man is a no-brainer. This was an absolute steal of a pick. I grade this specific pick as an A+. I grade the overall draft grade as an A, and I think that there was little to no mistakes made here. When you move into the second round, you mentioned Chris Braswell. This guy right here is a stud, straight out of Alabama. So he had to split time with a couple other guys, but it's Alabama guys. Alabama produces talent next to better than the rest of the country. There's only but maybe a few other colleges that I would say produce talent at this high of a level every year consistently. Chris Braswell is no difference in this situation. Now, he split time between Dallas Turner and a few other guys on that Alabama defense, but don't let it be confused. Even though he only played a fraction of the snaps that most of these other guys played, he led the SEC, the best conference in college football, in quarterback pressures. That is no easy feat. I'm going to say that again. Led the SEC in quarterback pressures and hardly played as much as some of these other starters from LSU, Texas A&M, Florida, Georgia, all these gifted colleges, okay? This man is the one who led the SEC in quarterback pressures. And also, quarterback pressures means he's getting to the quarterback, right? So keep that in mind, right? So Chris Braswell, second-round pick. In the third round, we had 3 picks, guys. We go Tyke Smith in the first one. This kid's an absolute stud. He played at Georgia, similar to Chris Braswell. Did not get a lot of playing time, but when he did, super effective. You'll see him in the nickel. You'll see him at the top. You'll see him double covering. This man is versatile. He can do a little bit of everything, and he sticks to his receivers like glue. In the Georgia-Florida game, he covered Ricky Parcell, who's our best wide receiver. He went in the first round to San Francisco. That should tell you right there how good this kid is, okay? So realistically speaking, great pick. Yeah, he's from Georgia, but I'm not going to be a beggar or a chooser. I'm going to be happy with the pick, and I can't wait to see this guy suit up, especially behind, as we mentioned before, probably one of the best safety duos in the league with Whitehead and Winfield. Then you go in the same breath, 3 picks later, we go Jalen McMillan, wide receiver out of Washington, played with the Tampa kid, Michael Penix Jr. Me and him actually went to the same high school, for the record. And he absolutely phenomenal, absolute phenomenal receiver. This guy was slightly overshadowed, but let me tell you, per Buccaneers training camp, this is probably the best young guy that we have on the team at the moment. This kid is showing flashes of great route running. He's got tremendous speed and hands, as you mentioned before. Catches everything. Could be a break. It could be whatever you throw, a globe. It doesn't matter. He's gonna catch it, and that's one of those things that when you look at a type of guy who, no matter whether he's open or he's not open, he's always open. He reminds me of Chris Godwin. And for those of you who have watched Tampa Bay Buccaneers football over the last 5-6 years, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as good as any quarterback friendly duo at wide receiver that you're going to find. I don't know a single quarterback in the league right now that wouldn't want to come play with these two guys. Now you're adding a third. Man, this offense is going to be really, really scary. And then speaking of scary, Bucky Irving? Really? Man sounds like a pirate. Listen to that name, Bucky Irving, right? Yeah, this is our number 4 fourth round pick right here, running back, my apologies, out of Oregon, Quack Attack. I have great respect for the Quack Attack, for the Oregon Ducks. I personally think they produce a ton of talent and have some of the best uniforms in college. The only uniform that's better is the Gators. But this kid right here, he is flash out of the backfield. He's quicker than he is fast, but that's exactly what we need. We do have Rashad White, who's going to be carrying the majority of the loads, but this guy's going to come in. He's going to catch passes out of the backfield. He's going to break tackle. He's going to stretch the field. He's going to scare a couple of guys. And don't forget, he can line up behind the quarterback, okay? This guy can run the football. Great pick. Of course, when you continue to go on in 6, 7, and the undrafted free agents, Tampa Bay stockpile worth of amazing talent this past year, one of our very best drafts in our franchise's history. And realistically speaking, a draft that did exactly what we needed to do, which was focus on the needs, identify the weaknesses, and turn those into strengths. I feel like we did that in the draft. Again, I give this Buccaneer team an A during this draft class, and I am just super duper happy with every move that we made from top to bottom as far as drafting, whether it be through the 7 rounds or the undrafted free agents.
Man, you spoken like a true Buccaneer, man. I mean, that was an amazing draft. I really love what they did there. Like, it's the truth, man. You don't go to the store to grab some things that you need and then get some cookies and be like, right. Oh, no, I don't got enough to buy dinner. Like, no, bro, you don't eat cookies for dinner, man. You know what I mean? Like, you need to get the goods. You know what I mean? You've got to get what's going to feed you, man. So that's exactly what they did in the draft. They went and got what they needed, and they're cooking something good now. They didn't need that. They didn't need that candy bar that was sitting there waiting for you to grab it right next to the cashier. No, man. Or the self-checkout, man. No, they went and got what they needed. And man, now they're going to eat. It's exciting. It really is exciting for these guys. So check it out. Let's get into it, man. Buccaneers this season. Okay. Here it comes, man. This, obviously, that NFC South looking, let's see how they look this year. But I want to get more into the other guys, man. You got here the AFC West, which is definitely there's up-and-coming teams in there. And then you have the good old NFC what is it, East, man, and
Mhm.
this is different. Or it's not the East. I'm sorry, I'm tripping over it. What was that?
It is the East. Yeah,
It is the East.
Commanders,
I was about to say, where's the
Giants,
Cowboys?
Eagles,
But yeah, they are.
Cowboys. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
East.
is. I was about to say, I thought I saw the Cowboys right there. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So the NFC East, AFC West.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, and a couple outlier teams, of course, in there. Looking at this schedule, man, how are you feeling? Are you feeling pretty confident? Are you feeling like, let's just wait and see how it plays out? Obviously, injuries are always a part of it. Do we get overconfident? Do we not? I don't know. But what are you thinking of going into the season, man?
This is probably perhaps the most interesting part of this team, right? Is how are they going to perform in the future, right? So we talked about all the additions and subtractions that they've had and made, and now it's time to put all of that and incorporate the data into the mix and now run the simulation. Well, as long as I've been a Tampa Bay fan, which is about 26 years, I'm 30 years old, been watching them since I was 4, so about 26 years, one thing I can tell you is when we draft well, we play well. We've been drafting phenomenal over the last 5 years, and we've been in the playoffs for the last 5 years. So when I take that in consideration, I look at this being perhaps, if not the best draft, the second best draft we've had in perhaps the last decade. I think that this team is poised for success. When we look at who we're going to be playing against this year, the AFC West, right? Okay, so this AFC West is a very, very it's a clunky mess, right? Like we don't really know the identities of a couple of these teams. You got the Raiders. This is a team that shares a lot of history with Tampa Bay, right? Like obviously, so this is it's always a good game to see the Battle of the Bays. This is one of the 2 versions that you can find of the Battle of the Bays between the Raiders and what used to be now, but the Raiders and the Buccaneers, and then you had the Green Bay Packers, of course, as well. Well, this game always promises to be a good game. I pretty much never seen a boring Raiders Bucks game, so because of that, I can't wait to see it. Then, of course, we have the Chargers. I personally have always been fond of the Chargers, even when they were the San Diego Superchargers. Yeah, I love that team too. So this is always going to be fun. They got a gunslinger out west. Can't wait to see how that game goes. And then, of course, as you mentioned before, with the NFC East, we have the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Commanders, and then the Giants. The NFC East, in my humble opinion, is the separate rivalry division of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'd say that we've played those teams more than we've played all the other teams in the NFL more consistently, aside from the Packers. That is the one team in the NFC that I can say that Tampa Bay has played without the shadow of a doubt too many times. But realistically speaking, I think the NFC East is actually trending downwards. I think after what we were able to accomplish against the Eagles last year is going to continue this season. I think the Buccaneers get some vengeance on the Cowboys. I don't think the Giants are playing tremendous football at the moment. So I feel like we should be able to win that game. Same thing with the Commanders, who just cleaned house recently. Removing those teams from the mix, of course, there's going to be the division foes. At the end of the day, I think this team can go 5-1 in division, if not 4-2 at the worst. There's no reason why we should get swept by anybody. We still are the best team in the NFC South. I don't care who Kirk Cousins joins. We beat him last year when he played for Minnesota. We'll beat him in Atlanta. That's not going to change anything. But there are a couple of teams that do scare me, and it's this age-old dilemma. It's the same teams over and over again, right? You got the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the Niners. Both of these teams played in the Super Bowl this past year. How can we not be scared of them, right? But these are both teams that we've beaten, okay? And we can do it again. So that's the first thing to know. The second thing is obviously the Lions, man. The Lions, they beat us twice last year. Yeah, they had some help the second time, but the first time they didn't. They just flat out beat us. We couldn't guard Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we paid the price for it, okay? So when I look at those 3 teams, I see that. And the last team, of course, is the Ravens. I think the Ravens are the most complete team in the NFL, to be completely honest. And as a result, this team is going to scare me. Lamar Jackson is an absolute wizard. The guy just twiddles his wand, and then the score changes from 0 to like 40, and you're like, what happened? And he has 200 yards rushing, 250 yards passing, and 3 all-around touchdowns. Lamar Jackson is the best player in the NFL at the moment. That team is probably the team that scares me the most, but I'm still super excited. Why? Because those are the games that scare me. I think this team wins between 10 and 12 games and finds the division crown again and finds the playoffs again. That's what I think about this Tampa Bay team. I think that there's the glass is half full, and I don't think there's a way for it to be half empty, especially after the moves we made.
That is a great way of looking at it. Yes, man. Have full, because what you guys did this offseason was wonderful. I guess I love everything. that is going into this program right now. There's so many positives, man. You guys should feel excited, man, because my gosh, last year with a team that no one even really thought would even win the division went that far into the divisional round. Dude, with a little work, there's no telling what you guys can do now. So that's really cool, man. So let's do it, man. Once again, Corey Pools, ladies and gentlemen, you guys show him some love, man. Right here at Palm Tree IE, Palm Tree Sports, man. He'll be back in 2 Sundays from now, obviously. You know, next week he'll be off doing the move thing, and then he'll be coming back, getting ready to talk about them Florida sports. Of course, give him a follow here as well. Post forward at his Twitter account. But before we go anywhere, Corey, there's a little segment at the very end that, you know, last week we did it with the Jaguars, and you know, this is a fun one. Obviously, they're all fun, as I always say. But there's 3 other teams, man, in this division that you just love to hate. Obviously, that's the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers. All 3 of those teams, man. We talked about the Buccaneers already and how you think they're going to do this year. Tell us how you think those other 3 teams are going to do this year. And then, obviously, as I always say, man, with professionalism, sprinkle a little bit on top and tell us how you really feel about those fools, man. Without further ado, Corey, stick it to them.
Hey, listen, I'd be more than happy to do so. So first things first, in case you guys missed when I called the Aints earlier, I mean, ain't gonna, ain't never gonna. The Saints ain't marching in nowhere. They not coming into Tampa. They can go back into that bayou and figure it out with them alligators. I do not like the Saints. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not like the Saints. Marshawn Lattimore, you belong to Mike Evans. You are his son. He has 3 kids, and you are his eldest. Okay, get it together, because you do not belong here with us. You understand that? The Saints are a terrible organization. They're a terrible team. You went and got Drew Brees, and what'd you do with him? You won 1 Super Bowl. We did that with Tom Brady in 1 year. Go home, okay? Go home. Go back to New Orleans. Stay there. Have a cookout. Don't come to Tampa, because guess what? We don't care. We don't want you. We don't like you, and you're not welcome here. It's very much so that simple. Saints, I hope you guys go 0-17. I hope you guys see the playoffs never again. Realistically speaking, what I'm trying to say is y'all should sell the team and move on, okay? So as far as Atlanta is concerned, Atlanta, I used to have some respect for you guys when y'all had Mike Vick. Then after Mike Vick left, I just kind of didn't think you guys were really a threat, even when you had Matt Ryan, because y'all decided to like go to the Super Bowl and then lose to my quarterback down. You know, you guys were up only like 25 points and you still lost. So do me a favor and do that again. Just every game this season, because you guys went out and you drafted Michael Penix Jr., right? But then you went and signed Kirk Cousins, and you had Kirk Cousins looking at Michael Penix Jr. like, what are you doing here? Are y'all sick in the head or something? Y'all need help? Because y'all can look down here and see how it's done. Y'all could easily just look down here and see how it's done. See, Tom Brady, Baker, playoffs. That's how you do it, okay? What y'all are doing is stupid. I'm just gonna call it like what it is. It's pretty dumb. But you know, hey, look, you got Kirk Cousins, great. He lost to Tampa Bay in the first game of last season, so cool, nice signing, guys. Carolina, when you guys are actually ready to be a franchise and your owner isn't terrible at being an owner, you let us know, because of all the teams in the NFC South that I don't fear, least among y'all is the Carolina Panthers. What I'm trying to say is, even though I don't like the Saints, they have a decent team. They're just a terrible franchise. Even though I don't like Atlanta, I just don't like Atlanta. Carolina, I don't like y'all, and y'all suck. Y'all are like legitimately trash. Like y'all take old Buccaneer pieces and then try to incorporate it and then do worse. And then it's just like you have the people that y'all get wondering why they left where they were at before to play with y'all. So for Carolina to find success, they should do something like also sell the franchise, but to an owner who actually knows how to own, like to actually knows how to be a leader, that knows how to make decisions. The guy that y'all have now throws water at people and whatnot when his team is getting crushed, but then fires the coach 10 games into the season. What's going on? All right, I'm stuttering. That's how terrible that franchise is. The point is this. It's very simple, okay? I guess what I'm trying to say is Tampa Bay is going to win the division. And it doesn't matter if you guys like it or you don't like it. That's just what's going to happen. I hope you guys can accept it, and I hope you guys continue to lose the division from this point forward. I mean, maybe one day y'all can win the division when we play football in outer space. But while we're here on Earth, do me a favor and just keep losing. And we're going to leave it at that, guys. Best of luck to none of you. And yeah, we'll see you in the playoffs while y'all are at. I guess y'all will see us in the playoffs while y'all are at home.
Corey, I thought last week with the Jags was good.
Saving my best for last.
You just went in. You just went in. Oh my gosh. Like, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Corey Pujols, man, just lighting it on fire, man. Brother, that was incredible, man. If you want more of this hot fire, I'm telling you, man, you want more of this? Bomb Tree. Look at that, right? Yeah, that's it, right, man? Bomb Tree _IE, man. Check him out Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern. You're going to want to stay up for that one, man. It's a great show, man.
Absolutely.
Always delivering the best. Check him out, man. At Pujols Corey as well, man. The guy does his thing. Amazing job. Thanks again, brother, for being here, man. Any last comments or anything for the Bucks fans out there?
Yeah, listen, guys. You guys keep your heads up. There's a lot of differentiation in the city right now. Baker's our guy. We can do this. We got this. Just remember, these are professionals. Let's let them do their job, and let's do our job and continue to support them moving forward. And of course, for those of you who are not paying attention, okay, don't forget to check out Palm Tree Sports Radio, where I talk about all these details on a weekly basis. And if you're missing that information, just pop on over. I have exactly what you need, everything you need to know about whatever team you're worried about here. Come check me out. I'll get you right. But yeah, Bucks, go Bucks. We got this. Another playoff run coming soon to a city near you.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. Man, thanks again for being here, man. I appreciate you so much for lending your time, man. So happy. I knew I had to get this Bucks with you, man. There was no other way,
Absolutely.
man. Thanks again. You covered the Jags for the AFC, you covered the Bucks here, man. He would have covered the Dolphins if we didn't have JB, man.
Whatever it takes, baby.
Hey, man, team player all the way. We appreciate you, bro. Thanks again for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the NFC South. When we come back, we're talking about my final weigh-in on this division. Let's see. Where do I have these guys over here? We'll find out, ladies and gentlemen. Check us out. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. That's the conclusion of this show. Big ups to our boy, Corey. And when we come back, my final weigh-in. You are listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, NFC South Day right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that sports. Be right back with my final weigh-in after this.
Hey, sports fans. Are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For a down south education on Florida sports and athletics, it's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen B, host of the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in live to the Show of the Land on Tuesdays, where we will cover the Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Guardians, and Monsters. We will also talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets, Crew, Fury, and of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll also cover other colleges in the area like Akron, Kent State, Cleveland State, Mount Union, John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace, Youngstown State, among others. So like I said, if you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in Tuesdays to the Show of the Land with Jen B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From where we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yell, and if you are looking for sports takes that live a mile above the rest, look no further than Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Want to talk about NBA, MVPs, and champions? Yeah, that's us. Perhaps a baseball team that no matter how they play, you just can't quit them? Yep, we've got that too. What about Stanley Cups, NHL award winners in the burgundy and blue? Got it. How about Buffaloes that run, pass, shoot, dunk? You bet. For all things Colorado sports, look no further than right here every Sunday at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, 8 Mountain, and 7 Pacific. Because if that light is red and the kids are in bed, you are listening to Mile High Musings, where we praise the Lord and cheer for them Denver Broncos. Stay good, sports fans.
Stay good indeed, sports fans. Man, what did you know? What did you know? That was another good one. I can't believe it. We are 28 in the division game. There's more to go with the NFC North tomorrow. Oh, it's going to be a party. Oh, my goodness. More than anything, it's going to be a party, but geez, man, it's going to be all So, with that said, you guys, let's get into it, man. My final weigh-in of the NFC South. So, huge shout out to all of our shows here on the network. Awesome people. Huge shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. We appreciate you guys all. Hey, what's going on? Mr. Rodriguez already put in his final projections there. Awesome. If you guys want to put your final ones in, by all means, please do so. What's going on, Ralph Khalees? We'll get to your projections at the end, you guys. I'll throw mine out there first. And big ups to Yukio Dima. Great guy, man. I always hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Out of Japan. He is the first member of our Hall of Fame 6 years ago, man. So big ups, man. Mr. Marcus Lopes. Great. I mean, just everybody all day long. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, here we go. Let me get my final weigh-in quick and dirty. Get up out of here for the day. But, man, the NFC South is going to be a lot of fun, right? Overall, guys, this is a division where you're going to be like, okay, that was weird. I mean, yesterday I kind of, said it was definitely going to be a big toss-up between the Cowboys and the Eagles in the NFC East. Now, looking at the NFC South, let's go ahead and get the easier one out of the room. I hate to say it, I'm sorry, but let's go ahead and jump in with it. The Panthers. Okay, so let's just be real. If things get better, I can see them winning 7, maybe 7+ games. But remember, as I always tell you guys, it always depends on how well they do against their own division as well. Okay, so realistically, it might still be a gelling kind of a year with that offense. And if it is,
Man, I don't see Bryce Young getting into a second contract, which I hope he does. I'm a big fan, as you guys know. I said it in the segment here, in the Panther segment. Shout out to Mr. Cat Manning Jr. for being a part of that today. All of our guests today were awesome. But you guys, just being real, if he gels, okay, if they work, that defense is top 5. I mean, they're a hell of a defense. If that offense can get it together, they're going to be a hell of a team. They could even take this division. It all depends, though. Realistically, I don't see it happening so soon. Maybe another year, get some more pieces. But if they do, cool. If they don't, it's going to be just like last year, horrible. Maybe a few games better. That's about it. Maybe worse than 4-13. Maybe better than 4-13. But right now, I have their ceiling at 7-10 to. Going off of last year, maybe a game better than that. And then I also have their floor, maybe 4-13, maybe worse. Okay, so let's get that up out of there and get on in to a little Falcons red. I know some of y'all probably like, seriously, man, but yes, the Falcons. Okay, 9-8 to 6-11. Okay, where's my logic with this? You got a brand new quarterback, but can he stay healthy? You got Michael Penix Jr., but is he going to be? How is that whole thing going to work? Is that whole deal between those two? Is that two different styles? Are they going to try to work both in? I mean, how is this going to happen? You know what I mean? What do they really have in mind? We'll find out. The defense, they're good. They need some work, and I feel like that's just going to be their Achilles heel. But overall, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're good, but it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's a new offense, new thing going on there. Let's see what happens. But as of right now, I see them at a 9-8. I can totally see that happening. They're going to lose some games. They're going to definitely get some victories in there. Their floor is 6-11 because if things just go south, I mean, I don't see them losing more than 6 because they're going to have the Panthers in there. Sorry. Once again, the Panthers are good. They can find themselves in the basement. Regardless, the Falcons could totally be better than 9 wins, but I think 9-8 to 6-11, looking at the season now based off of last year, I think that's fair. Let's see what happens, and let's see how these guys get it together. So, all right, next up, guys, this is kind of funny because this is the Falcons right here that I just went into, 9-8. If they really get it together, guys, they can be a 10-7, 11-6 team. They really can. Now, the other team that I have around that neighborhood, and I'm pretty sure you guys can see here by the color change on StreamYard here, but yes, the Saints. I have them between 11-6 and 8-9. Okay, why do I have them here? Because last year, like I said, they were a few big plays away from having a winning record and possibly even winning the division. They didn't do it though, and they lost. Guess what? They found themselves on the outside looking in, but they were a pretty decent team on the outside looking in. Okay, so if you think about it, the Saints can totally make it happen this year if they just get it together. Now, 11-6 is totally fair. 8-9 is fair because if they can drop, if the Falcons heat up, if the Panthers heat up, they may lose one of those games. Okay. Regardless, I think the Saints can even go better than 11 wins, but that's if their defense gets together. That's if Derek Carr gets together. We'll find out. Now, the funny part about this is just like yesterday. Think about this. Okay. Of course, number one, you guys know I have the Buccaneers by process of elimination, but look at the record again: 11-6. 11-6, 9-8. Okay, I think their defense is a small bit better than the Saints. And guess what, guys? I do think that the Buccaneers can get this thing done this year and be at least 11-6, maybe 10-7, but maybe even 12-5. Regardless, if the Saints do heat up, if everybody else gets better, the Buccaneers aren't going to have this good of a record. And I can also see them around 10 wins, which opens the door for everybody else. So realistically, guys, this is just my thoughts on going before the season. But the Buccaneers, the Saints, the Falcons, it's a toss-up. I think all three of those guys have a realistic chance of winning this thing. If the Panthers turn a major corner, oh my gosh, do they have a chance of winning this thing? Because all it really takes, it doesn't take much, guys. I mean, if Bryce gets it together and that offense gels, they're on the same level as these other three teams. So it really is a crapshoot at that point in time, and who's going to dig where, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. So I think that's a fair analysis of the NFC South, and man, it's going to be a fun year, right? I'm really excited. I really do think right now that this team, that all three of these teams, or four of these teams, have a good chance of even getting a little bit of a playoff run, depending on, okay, I don't have any of these teams going to the bowl, even if they were to be like totally a different world from this year. We don't know. I could be eating, as Sharon would say, eating crow. But overall, guys, I do feel that this is going to be a fun division to watch, and I do feel that all three of these teams have the potential to make at least a wild card, maybe a divisional this year, but depending next year, they can go a lot deeper. Well, the Buccaneers, I think, do have a chance to get to the division round like they did last year, but overall, I don't see the other three being able to do that, and maybe not even the Buccaneers as well. Yeah, the NFC is kind of open, so we'll see. I don't know. Regardless, who knows? Maybe the three teams that I mentioned could make it to the divisional round this year. Maybe the Panthers turned around. I don't know. But what I do know is this division is so open, which leads to so many questions, right? Which leads to so much, what do they call that? Interpretation, your personal, what do they call that? When you leave things up to your personal, thoughts, like a book that leaves you up to whatever it is. So anyway, guys, with that said, you guys, let's cue that music and get up out of here for the day. Yeah. All right, you guys, that is going to do it for today's show. Man, that was a good one, man. Really enjoyed everybody. Once again, thank you to everybody for being a part of this thing today. Of course, starting things out with our boy, Mr. Ice Spray over in Atlanta. Thank you for being a part of the show. That was a lot of fun. Our brand new Louisiana show, man. The Crescent City Connection. We, of course, talked after the show with T5 was like, yeah, let's do this. But yeah, we didn't mention it during the show. But yeah, man, our boy T5, man, we did Louisiana. We did our Saints show. Oh, man, we're ready to roll. I'm excited for that show coming on up. Next up, man, appreciate our boy Catman Jr. He's got that diss track. Go listen to his diss track, man. Catman Jr. 87. It just slow down a little bit, but it's funny, man. And then, of course, big shout out to our boy Corey Pools talking about the Buccaneers. Thank you guys all so very much for making 3 and Out 8 divisions in 8 days work, man. Tomorrow we have ourselves the NFC North. That division is crazy. That division is absolutely crazy. I'm excited for it because the Lions may actually do some real damage the first time since a very long time. But are the Packers to be overlooked? Are the Vikings to be overlooked? My goodness, are the Bears, dare I say, with brand new Caleb Williams in the mix, are they to be overlooked? This is going to be a fun division tomorrow, man. We got some great guests, a couple of them you guys know. We're going to get on into that. Newcomers also. And a new member of IE Sports Radio as well coming on up into that one tomorrow. So really excited for that. Guys, show some love, man. Follow us all over the place on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at IE Sports Radio. Follow us all over the place, man. This show is recorded just like all the rest of them. The audio gets put on here, so check it out. Check us out at Apple Podcast, Twitter, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, /Audible, Castbox, Music, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and Dialstate. And then we have our website at iSportsRadio.com. Check us out there. Blog, all kinds of good stuff. Daily schedule gets posted. Check us out in the forum. Chat with us. Chat with us in our blog. Check out our store, our shop at iSportsRadio.com /shop. Our personalized pages like this one right here, iSportsRadio.com /3 and out. Follow this show at 3 and out, all spelled out, 3 and out, IESR together. You can follow me over there at PTAQE_LB53. Check out our delicious sponsors, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Check them out on Instagram. Give them a follow at Planet Jerky. Also, PlanetJerky.net. Hit them up. Let them know you heard this here. Get a free bag jerky while supplies last. Also, my beautiful wife and her awesome business deal wax seals for your wedding invitations, graduation invitations, just sending a letter to a friend at Seal the Deal Wax, at Seal the Deal for wax deals. On Instagram, Facebook at Seal the Deals. Order at iSportsRadio.com /Seal the Deals, man. Show us some love, guys. That is it. We'll see you tomorrow talking NFC North. I'll see y'all then. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.